And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all again for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, we got Kanye West on Fox News. Very interesting interview, and as I said before many times, and I'm gonna stand by this, when you hear him talk, sometimes you're kind of lost, like what's going on. But if you stay around, you stick around for a while, you're able to get some gems. We'll talk about that interview in a minute. Also, shout out to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd for warning potential looters. Hey, you know where you're at right now. This is a Second Amendment friendly state, so you want to loot, them boys might shoot. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, Cori Bush shared a harrowing story about an abortion that she had, but yet she still promotes the industry. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, we got IRS agents stealing PPP and EIDL money to the tune of six figures. They try to take $1 million or more. From five agents, they try to take $1 million in money from five agents in Memphis, Tennessee. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, shout out to the mad lad out there in New York State who finessed $21,000 from a gun buyback. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. If you enjoyed what you are hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're enjoying the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, this is a podcast listening to right now, and it'll be available on audio-only platforms, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. This episode will be available at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So right now we're Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern. So it'll be available Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern in the morning. Check it out for free, audio only. So if you want to hear the repeat, you don't need to have the video bandwidth eating up all your space and your data on your phone. But anyway, we got a lot going on. There's a whole lot happening. You know, I got plenty of videos. You got your man Joe Biden talking about nuclear Armageddon. Like Armageddon, is that what we're talking about? Like, I've not heard that word since the Y2K scare. What are we talking about? They're buying drugs that have a shelf life of like 100 and like the drugs they're buying have a shelf life of like a year and a half shelf life. So you want some things to be, you're anticipating things happening like right now. So I don't know if I like that too much, but anyway, we'll talk about all that good stuff in a minute. But first, of course, you know, I got to shout out to my sponsors, shout out to myself, shout out to my websites. ABLmerch.com. That is ABLmerch.com. You can find hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more on the website. Link will be in the description. And y'all, please remind me before I get through the sponsors, just a quick break. I see a comment from Venerated Trouble. Let's talk about PayPal. I'm going to get to that because that's an interesting topic. Y'all, please remind me of that if I don't get into it right away. But let's continue here. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Check it on out. If you go to the main page, I have articles for each video that I write. So you will never be like, hey, man, where's that source? What's going on? Where'd you get the information? Can you cite your source, ABL? It'll all be right there on the website. Again, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email, my snail mail, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All that good stuff is right there on the website. Again, anthonyblogan.com and then anthonyblogan.com/contact. Find whatever you need. If you send me something crazy, I will call the federales on you instantly. Are they going to do anything? I don't really know, but I digress. Anyway, shout out to also patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. That's patriotpost.us. Their link will be in the description. Also, what else we got going on? Oh, of course, The beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me are made by bhedesigns.com. And all these links shall be in the description. Now, where do I start? I think I'm going to start with PayPal because you guys really buzzing about PayPal right now. That seems to be a thing. I'm seeing some comments being deleted. I mean, we could kind of ease up on that a little bit. That's okay. People got opinions. As long as it ain't nothing, no spam or nothing crazy, it's okay. But let me continue here. So PayPal has been the topic of conversation. Now, they put out a statement kind of like reversing course because here's what happened initially. They put out some new terms and conditions that said they could take $2,500 from you, $2,500 US from your account if you post misinformation or something like that, right? Let me see if I can find the original. Let me see if I can find the original statement. It was 2,500. They can deduct from your account. So let's say you have 10,000 in there, and they say that you're engaging in misinformation or something like that. I guess you would say harmful conduct in their eyes, not necessarily illegal conduct, but harmful conduct in their eyes. Then they could take 2,500 from you. That's what I heard at first, but they have reversed course. Okay, so this is from Ryan Fournier. It's only a tweet. This is not a news source, and I'm gonna get to the whole thing in a minute. Y'all just let me just kind of step my way through it. Okay, so Ryan Fournier on Twitter, he says, let me go to it here. PayPal announced that they are going to pull $2,500 from users' accounts if they promote quote misinformation. I used to do a lot of business transactions through PayPal. Not anymore. I'm done. Hashtag delete PayPal. Okay. So that's what was originally said. And this was at about 12:30, like in the afternoon. So right around noontime, right around lunchtime, that was the news. But now PayPal came out and reversed it. Okay. So here is, I guess you would say, a key piece of what they put out. I'm going to just read it for you, and I'll put it on the screen, of course. Let me get myself together. Okay. So here's what it says. Let me just put that in a better screen. There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit on that. It says a PayPal spokesperson told Fox Business that an updated acceptable use policy notice, quote, recently went out in error that included incorrect information, unquote, adding that the company is not fining people for misinformation and this language was never intended to be inserted in our policy. So the question is this: if the policy went out in error, was it going to go out eventually? Why was that even in the draft? What was the thought process behind placing that language in anything relating to PayPal? How did it get out in error? Was it a thing about to see if you could test the waters? Because I don't think they would just have that policy there without any kind of thought process put into it. It had to be a meeting of the minds, people at a table sitting thinking about, hey, what can we do to combat misinformation? Probably talking to the federal government and everybody else, because we know how the federal government does. We know now the federal government, the FBI, they suppressed the Hunter Biden story. If you posted the Hunter Biden story that came straight from New York Post, and which we know now, which we know is true now, they're trying to indict him now. I'll talk about that in a minute. We know that story is true. It was true from the beginning. It was put out there by a reputable, well-known source, one of the oldest papers in the United States and the whole world. Okay, you're talking about Rupert Murdoch, News Corp, Fox News. If they put out false information, especially about Hunter Biden, they're going to get sued into oblivion. Just like when Gawker put out the Hollywood Hogan tape, they got sued to the point where they're gone. They're totally just not even here anymore. That information was true. It was a real story, but yet it was suppressed because the federal government got in the way. So I'm willing to bet the federal government is collaborating, quote unquote, with PayPal to say, hey, we need you to combat misinformation. If you got guys on your platform, Alex Jones, who else is a guy that they don't want on the platform or may have kicked off already? Andrew Tate. You got these guys on your platform. We got to figure out a way to punish them, to fine them. Okay, here's a number, $2,500. Put that in there. So what was the purpose of the whole thing coming out? So it did come out and it was real, but now they're rolling it back saying, oh, nah, that was a mistake. My fault. Oops, sorry about that. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. For the time being, PayPal is not gonna find you, but I'll keep my eye on it. I definitely will keep my eye on it because obviously that can change. Let me see if I can find the actual article rather than a so okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find an article that shows you rather than just you seeing the piece of text. I'm gonna show you that this is a real article. All right, can we zoom in or not? Let's go ahead and do this. These ads, I'm telling you, they be the bane of my existence. Pop-ups, ads. It's like, are we back in 2001 with AOL, the floppy disk? Anyway, hold on. So you see right here, PayPal user agreement, finding users up to $2,500 for promoting misinformation when sent out an error, spokesperson says. So I'm right here. This is on Fox Business. All right. Let me see. Let me see if I can find any more information. I mean, these ads are killing me. So the spokesperson added that the company is in the process of updating its policy changes and apologize for any confusion. So they're updating the policy changes. Well, if the policy went out in error, what are you updating? Are you changing what you put out there initially? And then when you saw the immediate backlash and people closing their accounts, you were like, okay, we can't do that. You put it out there to test it to see if we would accept it. Because here's the thing about any kind of fintech, financial technology platforms, a bank or whatever. If the people don't like what's going on, they can protest, especially in PayPal's case, because they have competitors. There's Square, Stripe, Cash App, a bank, a gift card, Rush card or whatever, Visa, a blank Visa card. They have competitors. So at a certain point, it's like, hey, if you're doing things that people don't like, and then they begin to withdraw money from you and they don't want to use you for their processing, then it goes somewhere else, right? Now, personally, I've had no issues with PayPal. I've had them since I was in college. Like when I was first doing any kind of online shopping or online buying and selling back in 2005. So I've not had issues with them, but that right there most certainly be an issue. But as of right now, they wrote that back. Now, let's move forward a little bit, speaking about the federales and how they interfere with elections and whatnot. Now, let's talk about your man, Hunter. Hunter. Shout out to Anime. Shout out to the Anime show. This ain't that, though. Shout out to Hunter Biden. This guy is in danger of being indicted by the FBI. You know, I've never heard about anything like this being leaked. I never heard them say, oh, well, he might be indicted. The indictment is imminent. I think the reason why this got leaked, and Hunter's lawyer said this is really inappropriate for things like this to be leaked, and he's correct. It shouldn't be leaked like this. I never heard this kind of thing happen before. It's like when they indict you, they indict you. There's no, oh, they're going to indict him. There's wait for it. The Fed say it's going to happen. They're just going to indict you. They'll watch you for a number of years or however long it takes. They'll build up a case on you, and then they get you. And when they get you, they got you. There's really no way out of it. It's like getting caught up in the spider's web, and you're like a small baby moth. Okay, you're a moth in the spider's web. It's going to be pretty much night-night. That's the federales for you when you're talking about big cases like this. For them to indict Hunter Biden, the president's son, you got to have a rock-solid case. Now, let me see if I can find an article right quick. But Washington, D.C., the liberals are upset. Oh, they're hot as a freshly shot pistol. Oh, fire truck red hot. They're mad because why? First of all, this is the president's son. You're going to indict the president's son? You're going to do this to me? I have y'all playing basketball. You know the whole thing. So that right there has them upset that they're trying to indict the president's son. And then also, we're right on the eve of the midterm elections. Now, did you know that they have a policy of not indicting anybody like this right before an election? So they have a policy, like let's say, for example, this guy really did this, what he's being accused of, the whole gun thing and whatnot. If he did this, they would not indict him if it was right before an election. So they wouldn't have done it in 2020 in September or October. They wait till after the election because they don't want to influence the election. But if someone has committed a crime, or you have enough evidence that they committed a crime and you need to indict them, isn't waiting until after the election, a form of election interference, because you're intentionally holding back things that we should know to help a person that's running for office. So is that really a thing that you should do? I don't think so. But anyway, there's so much here. The funniest thing about this whole thing is the main thing they're getting them on is a gun charge because he purchased a gun illegally. Now, if you buy a gun, you pass a background check. And I think part of that background check is, hey, have you used drugs anytime in, I don't know, a year or something like that? If you lie on that form, that's a federal offense. And you can find out that he lied because of the time that he bought the gun, and then also his own videotapes. Hunter Biden's got to be the dumbest person on planet Earth. How are you a crackhead and the son of a president filming yourself smoking crack? What's the purpose of you doing that? But you know what? I'm sorry. I'm trying to rationalize crackish thoughts. I'm trying to rationalize crackhead behavior. Crackheads like Hunter Biden are not really rational. They just do things like Joker. Well, actually, I think Joker's probably a little bit more, a little bit more, he's more order in his steps. Hunter is just all over the place. He's like a snake with his head chopped off, just squirming around, not really knowing where he's going. So this is going to be really bad for the Democrats and bad for Joe. Joe can't run anymore anyway, so he's pretty much toast. I mean, Joe don't know really which way is up, north, south, east, west. He doesn't know what's happening. He's just pretty much cruising along. He's on autopilot. Like I said, he pretty much got 2 feet in. He has no idea where he's at. And then his counterpart, Kamala, is the same as him. Does she have early onset dementia? What's happening with her? They said that that Donald Trump was not an articulate speaker, and they kind of laughed at the way he talked and his mannerisms, all this and that and the third. But Kamala Harris ain't no better. And what's her excuse? You know what I mean? What's the excuse for that? But anyway, so let me see if I can find this right quick. Hold on. So here we are. Federal agents see chargeable tax and gun purchase case against Hunter Biden. So I don't think the whole thing with him siphoning money from Ukraine and China and et cetera is really the whole point of this indictment. The point is the gun charge. That's the main thing. There could be some tax stuff there, but taxes, you can pretty much get anybody on taxes, in my opinion, except for Trump. Trump is an accountant himself. People don't think about that. Trump did the accounting for his father and the whole family. So when he became the president, he already had a whole team of accountants, lawyers, and everybody else making sure that he was compliant with the federal government and their tax requirements. So when he kept saying, "Look, I'm under I'm under audit, not indictment," when he kept saying I'm under audit for the past 15 years, he wasn't lying. The way he has it structured, he's going to be under constant government IRS surveillance. And for a guy to be that scrutinized, like under the microscope, literally under the microscope, and there's been no action taken against him, you know that the whole thing about, oh, Trump doesn't pay his taxes, we're going to sue him for taxes, you knew it was BS from the beginning because he's a really staunch advocate for being tax compliant. And being tax compliant does not mean you just pay all your money in taxes. They're talking about pay your fair share. What does that mean? What does fair share mean? If I'm paying 40% in taxes, like how much more should I pay for it to be a fair share? At what point, like what's the number you could put on, like percentage wise, what is a number that equals a fair share? All I'm going to do is be compliant with my taxes. So if that means I'm going to take tax breaks, quote unquote, loopholes, whatever. When we talking about the law, there's no such thing as loopholes in the law. There's just the law. You follow the law. I don't care about nothing else. If I'm not breaking the law, it's irrelevant. It's no moral issue. We're talking about taxes because how is it an issue of morality? Me giving the government money is an issue of morality. I'm not giving the money to you. I'm not giving the money to some poor kid on the street. And if I want to do that, that's my own choice. That's my prerogative. I shouldn't be held at gunpoint to be charitable. Okay. being charitable is something I want to do for myself, not a thing that I'm being forced at gunpoint to do, or I'll go to the penitentiary, or they steal my assets from me, or they ruin my life, or they ruin my family's life, my kids' life, my wife, my dog, and everybody else's life. It shouldn't be about that if it's about morality and things of that nature. You don't force that gunpoint morality. That's like somebody in the street robbing you with a pistol and saying, hey, man, be moral. You know, this is the right thing to do. I'm out here struggling. So, yeah, give it up. Give me the money right now. It's like, sir, you're robbing me with a gun in my face. You're not being very moral, sir. So when it comes to law and taxes and stuff like that, I don't want to hear word one about morality. It's only about following the law, point blank, period. And apparently your man, Hunter, did not do that. Lied about his background on the background check to get a weapon, to get a pistol, which was in the video. This man was butterball naked, playing with the gun in the video like a moron, right? And then he tossed the gun on top of that. He tossed the gun behind a school, like where he lived in Delaware. It's like, what are you? But again, that's that crack talking. When that crack talking, your mind ain't really walking the way it should be walking. Your mind is just on another planet. Okay. And speaking of crackheads, while I'm right here on the subject, have you seen Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand? Have I played this video for you guys yet? Like, what's going on here? Okay, is she what drug does this? Hold on, we got some sound. Let's get some sound here.
Sweet mustache.
What drug does this?
You'll be right. You're probably out of shot over there. Okay, everyone's ready to go.
One more time. Let's run it back.
Sweet mustache.
But like, what's going on? Not only Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, but also Zelensky, the president, Prime Minister of Ukraine, the puppet of Ukraine, the puppet of NATO. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Like, is there like did Hunter go and is Hunter the connect for New Zealand and Ukraine? Like, what's going on? Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, here's the one right here. Hopefully, there's no weird sound going on. There might be something else happening. I gotta screen this video. It looks kind of suspect. All right, nah, it's straight. Let's go ahead and play it. All right. See, I knew it was gonna be some music. I felt it. So, like, what's going on here with your man? Let's go back. Sniffing and inhaling, breathing out. Bobby Brown jaw all over the place. Look at this. The jaw going left to right, side to side. That jaw don't know where it want to be. That jaw's not centered. The jaw's not centered. You know, like if you talk to somebody normally, their jaw's like right in the middle of their mouth. But this guy, this jaw's over here, over there. It's everywhere. It's doing a cha-cha slide, the electric slide, the hokey pokey. It's doing all that. All right. His jaw's all over the place. That's a sign of somebody that's on cocaine, crack, whatever you want to call it. What's going on with these leaders and their drug use? It's like, sir, I understand that you might want to party, but man, you're a leader of a country. You can't be doing that. You need to focus on what you focus on. Okay, focus on being used as a puppet by NATO, and focus on Russia dropping them nukes on your head. Focus on that. Don't focus on trying to, shoot drugs or snort cocaine. But anyway, hold on. Let me see if I can find another clip of Zelensky speaking about this whole thing. It might be in Ukrainian or Russian, same thing. Okay, hold on. Let's get some sound. It might be in this language, so you got to read the subs.
Що повинна робити НАТО?
So he's saying, what should NATO do? Question mark, eliminate the possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons.
Унеможливлювати застосування Росією ядерної зброї. Але, що важливо, я ще раз...
What is important, I was again appeal to the international community, as I did before February 24.
Звертаюсь до міжнародної спільноти. Як це було до 24-го? Превентивні...
We need preemptive strikes so that they'll know what will happen to them if they use nukes and not the other way around.
Удари щоб вони знали, що з ними буде, якщо вони застосують, а не навпаки. Чекати.
Don't wait for Russia's nuclear strikes and then say, oh, since you did this, take that from us.
Ядерних ударів Росію, щоб потім сказати, ах ти так, ну ось тримай від нас. Переглянути.
Reconsider the way you apply pressure. This is what NATO should do. Reconsider the order in which it applies pressure on Russia.
Застосування свого тиску. Ось я вважаю, що повинна робити НАТО. Переглянути порядок застосування. Що повинно...
So basically he's saying, yo, you got to attack Russia directly. And you see, I don't know if he knows what's going on. I don't really understand if he understands what's happening here. They're not going to attack Russia directly. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to attack Russia through you guys as Ukraine. This is a proxy war. You guys are being used as a way to attack Russia without a direct attack. If not for the fact Russia's involved, nobody would care about you. There are other nations that are dealing with battles, internal conflicts, external conflicts, being colonized or whatever. China's pretty much doing whatever they want to do all over the world. Okay. You got African nations warring, other European nations that are going through some issues. You got nations in Asia that are dealing with things. Why would anybody care about you guys over in Ukraine if not for Russia? The Russian Federation are there, so they want to attack them through you. That's why you can get so much money. You pretty much getting an allowance. You're getting 500 million here, a billion here, 60 million here, 700 million there. It's because they're fueling the proxy war. That's it. So if they were going to attack Russia, they would not help you because they would just do that and bypass Ukraine. They would let them take Ukraine if they could just attack them directly, but they don't want to do that. That's the whole point. So no, we're not going to do no preemptive attack. And if we do that, it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap. The war won't end until we stop funding it. The war is only happening. The war is not between Russia and Ukraine. The war is between Russia and NATO, which includes the USA. The only way for this to end would be if you get a new president in there or you find out a way to stop the funding. If you get a new Congress, maybe. I'm not sure how that really works. I don't think the president can just act on his own and give money to a foreign nation like that without the government's approval. But until you have that happen, it'll keep on going. This could be the plan of the warmongers because it's a money-making thing. All this money being printed and spent on war, it's a profitable thing that you got going on right here. So nah, they don't want to have that happening. They don't want to have the war in Russia interfere with that. They want the war in Ukraine to keep that money train going. 30 trillion in debt right now in the USA. Yeah. And the debt calculator is rising. As the debt keeps going up, the economy keeps going down. They're talking about, what are they talking about? They're talking about OPEC has cut 2 million barrels per day of oil production. And here we are trying to haggle with Venezuela and stuff like that for more oil. Meanwhile, we don't want to pump more oil right here in the USA. We don't want to build refineries right here in the USA. We want to focus on foreign nations. It's so silly. It's like, why focus on foreign nations, communist dictatorships? We're talking about Maduro and not wanting to support that particular regime over there, but then we go right to that regime to beg for oil when we could just pump oil right here in the USA. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Maybe I'm just making stuff up, and maybe I'm tripping. Okay, maybe I'm tripping. I'm not really sure what's happening. But anyway, let's continue here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Oh, here's a question I got for you guys. Here's a question. Has gas gone back up where you live? Because for a while, I presume it went down, right? Because Biden released that oil from the emergency supply. But when he put that oil out there, OPEC had not cut their production by 2 billion barrels a day. So have gas prices gone back up where you live? Or are they the same? Or are they continuing to fall? And when I say back up, I'm talking about recently, like within the past week or two. Have they gone back up or have they remained the same? That's the question I got for you guys. People are saying yes, you know it. Gas has gone back up in Toronto. Up $1 in Chesapeake. That's crazy. Gas higher than it was, 30 cents. $5.29. 30 cents from Wednesday to Thursday. Wow, overnight. $7 for Supreme in California. Yeah, California's going to be $10 a gallon right at the midterm elections. And do you guys think this is a way for Russia to interfere with the election? Okay, are they going to say that or nah? Because they could say, because OPEC Plus includes Saudi and Russia, that Russia did this to interfere with the election, ignoring Saudi Arabia. I saw one of the Saudi guys get on TV and blame the U.S. for the whole thing. He said, hey, you guys are not producing enough oil domestically. That's why gas is going up. Don't rely on Saudi and Russia and Venezuela and Nigeria, Angola, etc. Don't rely on them. Rely upon yourselves. You can produce 3 billion barrels per day in America that's not being produced right now because we don't want to do offshore drilling. We're trying to ban offshore drilling. We killed Keystone XL. Don't forget about that. We killed Keystone XL, the last part of it, and we're trying to block certain things from happening. And the regime, as I call it, they say, well, the oil and gas industry has a bunch of leases that are not being used right now. But see, that's a smoke screen because you're trying to block things from being used that could benefit us right now. If the oil and gas industry have a bunch of leases that are not being used right now, why did you block Keystone XL? Why are you trying to block offshore drilling? Why try to block things, then say they have the ability to drill where they have not drilled before? It's BS. It's just a way to push the blame on American, or push the blame on the gas companies and not the U.S. government for refusing to allow them to produce domestically. It's so simple. It's not difficult to understand. And like I said, we're going to rely upon foreign nations for everything. We're relying upon foreign nations for our goods. We rely upon them for our energy, food to a certain extent. It's like, okay, what are we going to make here? Are we only going to consume and that's it? We're a consumer nation at this point. We used to be able to make things. We used to fix things. We still kind of innovate to a certain extent, but now we're being overtaken by other countries, India, China, Russia, etc. We're being overtaken by these countries, and it shouldn't be that way. We're the best country on planet Earth, but you got people here in our government that don't want to see us that way. They don't want to have us continue to be the best nation on Earth. They want to have us be like kind of a surf type nation. And, oh, I got to play this clip right here from Kamala. I don't think I played it last time, but this kind of ties into what I'm saying right here about this whole surf nation, and they don't want to have us be successful as we were anymore, or not even that, just more self-sufficient. Let me see if I can find that. I'll put it on the screen, and also, is this the right one here? This might be it. Nah, hold on. Because there's a few of them that I've seen. Okay, there we go. It's a barbershop chair. Like this was a super cringe video. I may have played it last time. I may not have played it last time, but we got to watch it anyway. So I'm not sure where she is and why she's sitting down so awkwardly. It's like she's about to get a haircut. Like she about to just get the cape draped on her. That flag right there. They about to put it right on her neck and over her shoulders and her back and give her a bald fade or something like that. Why are you in the barber chair? I don't understand. A barber chair, like a singular barber chair, just out in the wild, with a microphone and the mask on. First of all, if you have on the mask and a microphone, you're defeating the purpose. You want to amplify sound after you suppress it. So you're mumbling like the Power Ranger putties, right? And then you want to put a microphone right there to amplify the muffles. So we're going to try and hear what she says through the muffling, and then we're going to react to it. So let's go ahead and roll it.
Equality suggests.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place.
So basically, this is like redistribution of wealth and having everybody be the same and all this and that. Like, newsflash, lady, people aren't equal. Now, are we all human beings? Yes. Should race and stuff like that matter? Should it matter? No, it doesn't. Well, it should not matter. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but it shouldn't matter. What should matter is what you bring to the table, what you're able to bring forth in this world, how you behave, how you treat yourself, how you treat other people. What do you bring to society? That should matter the most, other than how you look and your race and whatnot, just on a general level, on a basic level. So she's talking about just giving people things to make them be in the same place. But that's not reality. First of all, where is this place we're speaking of? What place are we trying to get to? Are we trying to become like Bill Gates, Elon Musk? How? How can everyone get to that level? How is that possible? Everyone can't just be this innovator to create a thing that changes the world, like Steve Jobs and the iPhone. I mean, everyone can't create an iPhone every day. So how does everybody wind up in the same place? I don't understand how that makes any sense. You see, what they want to do is have us all be like peasants. Nobody be rich, nobody be poor. But I got an exception. Kamala Harris can live high on the hog. Her husband, the first gentleman, second gentleman, whatever, Doug Emhoff, he could be high on the hog. Joe Biden can be high on the hog. Big Mike and Barack can be high on the hog. But you, regular normie, can't. So it doesn't matter if you went to school, you sacrificed years of your life and you became a doctor or surgeon or something like that. You're going to be on the same level as a guy like Emma Don flipping burgers. That's what they want. That's a communism when it comes in. Everybody's going to be on the same level. Fighting over food, basically. It'd be Venezuela. You're trying to go eat farm animals in the zoo. So it's crazy. That is not a good thing. Everyone can't be in the same place. Everyone should strive to be the best version of themselves, but realistically, that's not a possible thing because they understand that. They even, I think Nancy Pelosi was talking about, well, you got to have the illegals to pick crops and stuff like that. Same thing Obama said. He said fruit pickers and bed makers. He said that on TV. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that clip right quick, just to let you know that I'm not playing games with you. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. So fruit pickers, bed makers. All right. Here we go.
We have to
There we go. Let's see. This might be it right here.
remember that this debate is about something bigger. It's about who we are as a country and who we want to be for future generations. Are we a nation that tolerates the hypocrisy of a system where workers who pick our fruit and make our beds never have a chance to get right with the law? Or are we a nation that gives them a chance to make amends?
So, hey, man, the illegal aliens, they're fruit pickers and bed makers. What he said. He said it right there. Did I make it up? Did I lie to you? I sure didn't. I sure did not. 2014, this is when he said it right here. Well, right around that time. It appears to be pretty new. Nice HD quality video. Right on TV, right in front of a camera. Like, not even like, okay, it was an off-color remark, made it a fundraiser. They recorded him. They put it out. He's in front of the TV speaking to the public about illegal immigration. So it's like, they want you to be that. A fruit picker, a bed maker, and then if you're a doctor, they want you to be on the same level as a doctor. But this guy can live up in Martha's Vineyard and have the time of his life. With all his big Hollywood celebrity friends, popping champagne, charcuterie board, champagne flutes, living a life. Like Gavin Newsom, when he had California locked down, he's over at French Laundry with his friends. He was at French Laundry with medical professionals, having a dinner, no mask on, nothing like that. But then they say, hey, you got to put this little flimsy $2 mask on your face that some Indian dude made in 2.5 seconds in some slum in Mumbai. He got his feet all kind of crust and rust on it, all on your mask. You putting that right on your face. Oh, and here's an update about the vaccine. I can speak on this because this is something that they put out officially from the Florida, what's that, the medical office? Hold on, let me just find it right quick. Let me see if I can find it right quick. And I'm going to just show it to you without talking too much because I got the receipts. One thing I'm going to have is receipts. Nobody can tell me anything else. Okay. So here's the thing. From Florida Department of Health, the state surgeon general now recommends against the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines for males aged 18 to 39 years old. Okay. Recommends against it. So they're saying, nah, don't do it. And here we are. Here's the actual, here's the, right here, Florida Health, floridahealth.gov from Surgeon General Dr. Joseph A. Lapato has, announced new guidance regarding mRNA vaccines. Florida Department of Health conducted an analysis through a self-controlled case series, which is a technique originally developed to evaluate vaccine safety. The analysis found that there is an 84% increase in the relative incidence of cardiac-related death among males aged 18 to 39 years old within 28 days following the mRNA vaccination. With a high level of global immunity to COVID-19, the benefit of vaccination is likely outweighed by this abnormally high risk of cardiac-related death among men in this age group. Non-mRNA vaccines were not found to have these increased risks. As such, the state surgeon general recommends against males aged 18 to 39 from receiving mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. Those with pre-existing cardiac conditions such as myocarditis and pericarditis should take particular caution when making this decision. What did we say from the myocarditis, pericarditis, heart problems, blood clots? So I dare anybody to try to flag me. I'm reading a government website. This is floridahealth.gov. I'm reading it right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this link right here in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm doing the right thing, and I'll show you nothing crazy. All right. Let me just copy and paste that. So I'm gonna title it Florida Health website. There you go. Florida Health website. There it is right there. So y'all check it out. It's and we've been saying that for a long time. All the pure bloods out there. And if you got the vaccine, I'm not judging you. Specifically judging you. But to all the pure bloods out there, we were right. To those that wanted to bully us and say, oh, just take the vaccine and it'll be okay, all this, that, and the third. And apparently not, obviously not. They're recommending against it. And didn't we say there's going to be global immunity from being exposed to it? Didn't we say that? And they're saying that right there. Government website. We also said that you could treat this particular thing with ivermectin, and then they put ivermectin on the FDA's website or the NIH website as one of the therapies used to treat it, which is weird because they put it on there as a therapy, then said they don't recommend it. But if you don't recommend it, why would you put it on there? You didn't put HCQ on there, but you put ivermectin on there. Okay, so they're doing tests with IVM to see if it's going to be effective. But isn't what's happening right now a test? Because IVM has been around for a long time. Won a Nobel Peace Prize and everything else. It's not a dangerous medication, but the vaccines are brand new that we're using, at least. They're brand new in this context, at least. So there's a test going on right now, right? But you recommend that, but IVM been around for a long time. You're testing that but can't recommend it. It don't make no sense. So yeah. Oh, it's big time backpedaling. So now you could pretty much say things about the vaccine on social media because I'm not saying anything that the government's not saying. They're putting it out there in front of you. But people are still wearing masks like they work. It's like a comfort blanket. And I think that's why Anthony Fauci reversed himself. Remember, he was like, you got to wear that mask everywhere. Well, he didn't really reverse himself. I think the CDC reversed themselves. And they came out on TV and said they're pretty much facial decoration. They don't do anything for you because they don't. And they know that now. So they got to just kind of fall back off of their original claims. Right. But yeah, that's straight from the Florida Health Department's website, floridahealth.gov. And links will be in the description. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Duke. They're talking about IVM. It turned you into a horse. That's horse paste. It's horse paste. It's like, really, horse paste? I mean, they feed antibiotics to chicken that you eat. So if you take antibiotics, is that chicken paste? Is it chicken drugs? Is it chicken fattener? Are you taking chicken feed if you take antibiotics? People are so silly. They just believe whatever the TV tells them. Now, I was watching this podcast with Charleston White, and that's a funny guy. It's a little raunchy for me, like, to talk about too much on this channel. But if you are an adult, a super adult, you can watch him and laugh and get some knowledge. One thing he said was about the news. Where do you get your news? This was a really important segment, and I would play it, but it's too much cussing and carrying on going on. But I'll just summarize it. And he was like, hey, you, the interviewer, speaking to him, Charleston said to the interviewer, hey, you are getting your news from TV, from a guy just on there talking about whatever. But I go read, I go find the articles, I go find the sources. Now, when you're reading the source from an article, when you're reading things on a sheet of paper or on a newspaper, like a real newspaper, New York Post, etc., when you're reading things there, they can't really lie. You see what I'm saying? Because if they do lie, they can get sued. Now, they can spin things, they can give opinion pieces, but that's opinion pieces ain't really nothing. I'm talking about actual factual news articles that are written. They can't really lie on that because they can get sued for that. However, and if they do lie, they got to put out retractions and apologize, things of that nature, because they don't want to get sued. But when you're watching television, it's more sensationalized. It's more opinion-based. If you're watching MS-13 DNC, 80% of it is just opinion. When you're watching, what's her name? The lady with the funny hair. Oh, is that Joyanne Reed? When you're watching her, you're getting mostly opinion. Tiffany Cross, mostly opinion. These guys, the dude with the funny hair, Ely, whatever his name is, y'all know what I'm talking about. Big boy with the funny, the gray hair, the little mini Afro puff. You're going to get opinion. But when you're reading an actual real article, like I just read right there, you can't put fake stuff in there because you can get sued. You can put fake stuff in there, but good luck being around tomorrow because you're going to get that lawsuit ASAP. It's going to be somebody out there that's hungry to sue you. You're going to get sued just for putting out things that may be a little bit untrue. Kyle Rittenhouse, prime example with that. There were so many opinion pieces that came out that painted him in a negative way that kind of bled into them talking about, oh, he is a racist. He is a white supremacist. He did bully that man. And then it turned out not to be true. Oh, now we got a lawsuit. Do it again. Say it again. A prime example of this is when The View is opinion-based, but they try to mix in real news too. But then when they put out fake information about Turning Point USA, so you can say Turning Point USA is sucks or whatever you want to say. That's your opinion. But then when you say, oh, well, Turning Point USA invited these Nazis to their rally, when you say something like that, that's called libel and or slander. When you say something like that, it's not true. So they had to apologize the next day and issue a retraction. My point behind all that is when you read the information, like I just read, you're going to get more facts versus watching television. They're not going to put that on TV, what I just played you. They're not going to put that on MSNBC. They're going to have some dude like Anthony Fauci talking about, yeah, get the vaccine, it's good for you. But then they won't show that, what I just showed you from Florida, where they did an actual study and put it on the government website. I digress. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Yeah. Opinion. You could say people that put out opinions on MSNBC and whatnot are paid liars. You could say that, because it's one thing to have an opinion and it really be your opinion. It's different to have a quote unquote opinion that's not your opinion. You see, you're being paid to say certain things that you know the network wants you to say. Like your man Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is a paid liar. He'll go on TV and say whatever you want him to say. He just has the ability to be able to say it in sort of a smooth way. His look is appealing to a lot of women and whatnot. It looks kind of like he's professional. And he has a Cuomo name and the whole New Yorker mystique to him. So he'll get on TV and tell him and say whatever you want. In today's news, the moon made a cheese. Right back to you. That's kind of how they operate. But anyway, let's keep on moving here. So, the fake gun buyback. I think I covered that last time, but I didn't really cover it all the way. Shout out to Ruin Leon for this video about the fake gun buyback. That was crazy. Let me go ahead and put it up right quick. This whole thing was nuts. I gotta find the actual video and then we put it on the screen. Okay, let's do this. So there was a gun buyback in New York State. I think it was Utica, New York. And they had these guns listed for such a small, the guns that they had. Let's just play it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's just play it. Okay, are you gonna, all right.
State Attorney General's gun buyback program aims to curb gun crime, but one man claims he made guns on a 3D printer for the sole purpose of selling them at Utica's Buyback event. As News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris reports, he walked away with $21,000 in taxpayer money.
On August 27th, the State Attorney General's office held a community gun buyback program at the...
Now, do you see this right here? I mean, okay, look at the prices. Assault rifle $250, rifle $75. How is an assault rifle different than how is a quote unquote assault rifle different than a regular rifle? You don't have a fully automatic rifle. You don't have a real actual military weapon in the street. An assault rifle is just a scary looking rifle, a black rifle. You could put stuff on it, little attachments, but it won't be anything fully automatic. You pull the trigger one time, one bullet comes out. Same thing, regular rifle. But the assault version of a rifle is $250. You know, you can sell it for that much money. But a regular rifle that's not assault, you know, with the same function, pull it one time, bullet comes out, same barrel length, same everything, $75. And first of all, these are very dirt cheap prices for rifles. If I have a real rifle, kitted out and everything, $250, that's not really a lot of money. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just sell it on the street. I'll sell it on the street for more money than that. And the same thing, a regular non-assault rifle, what is that though? And then somebody was telling me somebody told me in the comments, oh, you guys don't know, you guys are pretending like you don't know what a real rifle, like an assault rifle is. Like, wait a minute. How am I trying to like shield this? It's a rifle, is a rifle. They all got the same function. So yeah, or a non-working gun or antique, $25. Why would I sell an antique gun for $25? I mean, you got to be the dumbest man on planet Earth to sell an antique gun for $25. Matter of fact, hold on. I got a meme for that. I don't care if it don't work. I'm not selling no antique gun. My pawpaw gave me a gun, and it's, you know, you can't find it anymore in the world, or there's a very few of them. Ain't $25. I ain't giving you that for no $25. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Y'all give me a second. But yeah, the prices were dumb anyway. The prices were silly. It didn't make any sense. Oh, here we go. Here's the thing. So here's a meme. This is like a little 4-part comic. And then in the first part of the comic, it says, yeah, the gun buyback went great. It's a guy with his dog right next to him. He said, I turned in a machine gun that my grandfather left me. Said, yeah, it's great. I got 50 on the gift card. And then the dog is smothering him in his sleep. It's like, good boy. Good boy. $50 gift card. And this thing here back in New York, they did give out gift cards. $21,000 in gift cards because he was able to sell 3D printed like lower receivers basically. But let's go ahead and get back to that video and continue on with this nonsense.
The Utica Police Department. No questions asked, they'd buy from you as many guns as you wanted to surrender.
Nobody thought this through. If you look at the flyer, it is just the gravest thing that Letitia James could have done. Is she literally put a bounty on 3D printed guns. She said, I will give you extra money if it doesn't have a serial number on it. They made no specifications. They didn't touch on any details. There was no fine print. And that's why I was able to walk out with $21,000.
After seeing people posting on Twitter about using 3D printers to make ghost guns to sell at gun buybacks, a man who identified himself to us as Kem got to work on it.
So he sold this right here. I guess as rifles or pistols. I don't know what he sold them as. It could be rifles. It could be pistols, whatever.
$200 3D printer he got for Christmas.
Well, I 3D printed a bunch of lower receivers and frames for different kinds of firearms.
Then he drove 6 hours to Utica.
He says, hey, you're here for the gun buyback? And I said, yeah, I'm here. And he sees the tote. He's like, oh, how many firearms do you have? And I said, 110.
This began an all-day negotiating.
This man had 110 of these 3D printed guns. Look at this. He had these 3D printed, just plastic stuff. Made $21,000 with this from a 3D printer. And it's not illegal because there was no strings attached. There was no specifications. There was no fine print. They would say, hey, we'll buy your guns. No questions asked. Your gun can have a body on it. Hey, your gun could have been involved in a murder. All right, we'll give it to you $25. Go ahead and sell it to us. No strings attached. So, okay, if that's what it is, then how about I bring my toys that I made on my 3D printer and give them to you? You said no strings attached, right? So no, take this stuff right here. I got 110. So what's up? Plastic toys. Take them. They work, I think, maybe to a certain extent. They work. So what's the problem?
And haggling session with staff from the state attorney general's office.
And it ended with the guy and a lady from the budget office finally coming around with the 42 gift cards and counting them out in front of me. $21,000 in $500 gift cards.
We asked the state attorney general's office a few weeks ago if they were aware this might be happening at gun buyback programs. They didn't answer the question, responding only that the buyback in Utica helped keep families safe and was a big success.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure handing over $21,000 in gift cards to some punk kid after getting a bunch of plastic junk was a rousing success.
Kem says he had two objectives: make some cash and make a point.
And gun buybacks are a fantastic way of showing, number one, that your policies don't work. And number two, you're creating perverse demand. You're causing people to show up to these events only to make money.
The comments right here are funny. Applebee's, here he comes. Hilarious, Dan. That is funny. Hey, Applebee's, you're gonna buy out the whole bar. We getting boneless wings. We getting draft beer, all of that good stuff. On me. I'm buying the bar out. I'm buying drinks for all 5 of you guys here. Let's go ahead and get it with my 21 bands I just made from this fake gun buyback. This whole thing was dumb though. Like, what's the point of a gun buyback program? It doesn't do anything. Criminals don't give up their guns. Look, if I want my gun, I need my gun, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid of it. Sorry. And I would think that a lot of these gun buybacks, you're going to have stolen weapons, weapons that got bodies on them, weapons that people don't want anywhere around them, and then they can make money for it. But if I'm a criminal and I'm out here thugging and drugging and gunning and running, nah, I'm gonna need that weapon. I'm gonna need that weapon. And the same thing if the same thing if I'm a regular normie who wants to protect my home and my property. I'm gonna need that weapon. I'm gonna need that. Like if I'm in Florida and my home got destroyed or partially destroyed or severely damaged, I need those weapons to protect my property, to protect myself. Have you guys seen these signs? I think I showed the last one last week where they said loot here, die here. I'll show both signs right quick. And then we're going to get into my man, the Polk County Sheriff. What's my man's name? Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. Shout out to Grady Judd. I'll show you guys his video in a moment, but let's get to some of these, some of the pictures from the scene out there in Florida, where people are saying, "Hey, man, if you want to loot, you're gambling with your life. You're gambling with your life. I suggest you don't do it. Find something else to do. Figure out a different way to make money. Don't come over here because you're going to end up dying." All right, hold on. So you got both up. Here's the first one. I can put it on the screen right quick. So there we go. All right, cool. This one says, "Loot here, die here." And it's funny because there's a bunch of American flags that are around it. Oh man, you're going to hear taps. You're going to hear like a national anthem, and you get popped from 500 yards away. Oh man. Like, this guy right here is not playing any games. Loot here, die here. American flags. You're dealing with the American sniper right now. So don't loot. Mind your business. And that's pretty much it. You might be an illegal alien. Maybe you can't read English, but I think the sign written in that red spray paint looking like it's smeared on blood might be a little bit of a warning. And the American flags too, you already know what time it is. You know what it is. All right. So that's one sign. And then here's another one. You loot, we shoot, FAFO. And y'all know what that means. F around and find out. So don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. Now, somebody's going to say, well, this is advocating violence. No. We're just saying, hey, don't touch our stuff. Leave us alone. That's it. That's all you got to do. Leave us alone, and there won't be no problems. It'd be zero issues if you leave us alone. That's all you got to do is just act right, and you'll be just fine. You'll be good. All right. But if you want to act crazy, you want to just do whatever you want to do, then it might be a problem for you. That's all. It's real simple. So yeah, let me get to the video of my man Grady Judd talking about that exact same thing that we saw. But he said it in a little bit of a more colorful way, I should say. Let's go ahead and put this up in a minute. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Oh, is that a brand new term, FAFO? Yeah. Yeah, it's a song and everything that I could play, but I probably can't because it got cussing and stuff in it. But you can find that. Let me go right here. So this is Polk County, Florida Sheriff Grady Judd.
People have a right to be safe in their homes. They have a right for their property to be safe, even when part of their home may be torn away. And these looters, that's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. I would highly suggest that if a looter breaks into your home, comes into your home while you're there to steal stuff, that you take your gun and you shoot him. You shoot him so that he looks like grated cheese. Because you know what? That's one looter that won't break into anyone else's home and take advantage of them when they're the most vulnerable and the most weak.
I mean, that right there was beautifully said. Beautifully said. And he was very careful to say it carefully. If they come into your home while you're there, take your gun and shoot them. So he's not saying like you just see him outside or something like that. No. If you're home and they come into your home, go ahead and shoot. Go ahead and just line them on up. Grated cheese, not Swiss cheese, grated cheese. We're talking about like Olive Garden stuff, right? We talking about that type of deal. Okay. So yeah, that's right on. That's not promoting violence. That's a way to deter violence, because if looters know that they could die over that piece of copper wire, if they could die over that flat screen TV, if they could die over a mattress, they might think twice. Like, you know what? Is my life worth this bag of random stuff. If I steal this stuff, I might get $200 for it. Am I going to risk my life for that? I don't really know. That might not be a good idea. I'm going to go over there and try to do something else. I might just go back across the border and back to my home country, because a lot of these people that come across and are looting are illegal aliens. They said that on TV. So yeah, not surprising, of course, because you got a lot of criminal aliens out here that are just doing things under the radar because they have no way to really identify them. What's your name? Jose. Okay, cool. Your social 00000. All right, cool, bet. All right, no problem. Where you live? Somewhere else. All right. So they come over here and just engage in crime. And it's not a good thing. All right. Do I have more videos for you guys? I know I do. Of course, I always have more videos for you guys. That's kind of what I'm always kind of like gathering videos for y'all. Let me see here. Let me go back to my. Oh, here's Kamala Harris again, speaking about, cringe and things of that nature, going back to her. Here's a video of her speaking to somebody. Like I was saying before, they say Kamala Harris, or they say Donald Trump was not a very good spokesman. He could not speak very well. He had bad speech, weird mannerisms. Let's go to Kamala Harris and see what brilliant thing that she says out of her mouth now.
Julieta, so to your point, I early on asked my team, let me just say, I love Venn diagrams. I really love Venn diagrams. The circles, right? 3 usually. Julieta, so to...
Huh? What was that all about? Like, I mean, that's pretty much Kamala Harris in a nutshell. That's her in a nutshell. Just talking just random stuff. You got like Venn diagrams, cackling like a whole hyena. It's like, what are we doing? Is this your queen? Is this the vice president? This ain't even senator material. It's not even. This is like local, state, city rep, city council rep, DMV cashier status. Nothing against anybody that's in the DMV cashier. I'm just saying, this is not somebody that should be on the national stage. You might be good at your job, but you may not be good at other jobs. Like me, for example. I may be okay at doing this, but maybe I shouldn't be on the basketball court trying to play against Shaq and people like that. You understand? Maybe I'm tall, but I'm not that tall. I'm not that skilled at this particular thing. So I think Kamala Harris is outside of her league. All right. So let me get to some more here. Cori Bush. Now, Cori Bush shared a crazy story about an abortion experience she had. She said that she was forcibly given an abortion at age 19. Now, here's the backstory. Okay. So Cori Bush said she was sexually assaulted at age 17 and she had an abortion. After that, she had another abortion at age 19. I mean, are we going to make it a pattern? Like, what's going on? But anyway, so when she goes to the clinic, she begins to have second thoughts. She gets cold feet. And then when she's about to get on the table, she's like, no, I don't want to do this. And then that's where things take off. So let's watch some of this clip and I'll give my commentary on it.
One of the things that really struck me in the part of your book where you talk about the experience you had with abortion is how nuanced your view is, because this is a complicated topic. And you talk about how the fact that it's complicated showed up in your own life.
Yes.
You became pregnant 2 years later when you were 19. And you chose to have an abortion. You went to an abortion clinic. At this time, you were enrolled in university. You had started Harris Stowe State University. And you got to the clinic and had second thoughts.
Yes.
Walk me through what happened.
So I was thinking back to the first abortion. Okay, you've done this before. You know the rooms. You know what it looks like. You know what it feels like in this place. You know what to expect. You know that you may experience even some harm or some racism.
Let's pause right there. So you had an abortion at age 17 after a sexual assault. Okay. Here you are again at age 19 with another abortion just because. I mean, there's no sexual assault just because. She had a boyfriend, didn't really tell him. She just went and did it. Now, if you thought there was any kind of racism or anything like that in that space, why would you go back there? Why would you be dealing with this particular place if you knew there could be some harm or racism? I don't understand.
In this space, like I thought I was ready.
Because you had experienced racism previously.
I had. So I thought I was ready. And I went in and I went through all the steps because they were like, it's almost like an assembly line. You know, you go from room to room. And I got into the last room. I was helped up onto the table by the nurse. And I laid there and I started to think, well, one, I didn't tell the father that was about to happen. I just felt like I needed more time. So I said, no, you know what? I'm not ready. Mm-hmm. And the nurse just, wouldn't listen to me. And I said, no, I'm not ready. And as I'm saying no, they continued to pull the instruments and, get everything ready. And it was just like, no, calm down.
Are you buying the story or no? Y'all let me know in the comments.
No, you're going to be okay.
So you were telling them that you didn't want to move forward.
Yes.
And they were ignoring you.
They absolutely ignored me. Even to the point of, like calm down as if I was the problem. And so I didn't really know, I didn't understand at that point where I had a voice, like who listens to me. And so I remember laying there looking to see if there was someone else in the room that would listen to me. And they ended up during this time, they put the instrument inside me and started the instrument.
So basically she's saying that the abortion happened without her consent. That's what she's saying right here. Without getting too long into the video, it's on my website. You can find it on an article that links to the particular story. But yeah, so first of all, are you even buying the story? Did that happen that way? Or was this like another abortion? She just had it because she wanted to have it. Like, I don't think the whole racism thing was a thing. I think her whole point was to make it about racism and not being hurt because she's a black woman versus, okay, this is abortion number 2. What are we doing? And then also, if it was a thing that happened without your consent, why do you still support the abortion industry? If you know in your mind, from her point of view, that it's racist and they violated you, why would you support the whole industry? You shouldn't support them at all. You should be against it. You should say, you know what? I had a bad experience. I had 2 bad experiences, maybe even more than that. I don't like the industry. I'm against it. But yet she's vehemently for the industry. She wants to repeal the Hyde Amendment, if I'm not mistaken. The Hyde Amendment? Let me see if I'm saying the right thing here. Yeah, the Hyde Amendment. So the Hyde Amendment bans federal funding from going toward abortion. She wants to repeal that, and she wants to codify Roe v. Wade into federal law. So she is somebody who is mostly in favor, like not mostly, 100% and more in favor of abortion, but yet had this terrible experience, not once, but twice, at least twice. So it didn't make any sense to me. So the story, I'm not sure if I buy it. I think it's a story that she is using to, I don't know, make herself be a victim, because when you're a victim, you're able to get kind of like more cool points from Democratic Party and those that may vote for you, your constituents. That's kind of what's going on with that. If that story is true, that's horrible. And nobody should go through that. Like if you're on a table having second thoughts and they're forcing you to get the abortion, they're not hearing you, that's terrible. That should be a reason why you don't support the industry. That's just common sense to me, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet talking. And I digress. If you like what you heard so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. Now, Kanye West on Fox News. Have you guys seen that interview? Tucker Carlson. I thought the interview was good. It was a 2-part interview. They showed the first part, what was that, Thursday night, and then again on Friday night. I did not watch the second part. I saw some clips from it, but I didn't watch it. I just saw the first part mostly. And the thing about Kanye is like Jordan Peterson. when you're hearing them talk, it's easy to get lost because he may go off on a tangent about his personal life, talking about Kim and his kids and whatnot, and fashion industry and Anna Wintour, people like that. But then once you're able to kind of zero him in and get him focused on one particular topic, he said some things that I agree with and some things that I don't, but a lot of things that I agree with. And some things, like I said, make no sense. But there were a few things here that I enjoyed. And one thing about Kanye, you could agree with him. You could say he's crazy, makes no sense. But in order for you to be worth like $6 billion, you can't be a total moron. And if you hear Elon Musk talk, it's the same kind of way. Have you ever seen Elon Musk talk like in front of a crowd? It's kind of like disjointed as well, because when you got that much stuff going on in your mind, it's hard to keep everything just really focused and lasered in on one particular thing at a time. You kind of just scatterbrain all over the place. That's kind of what happens. So I think that's the issue that Kanye's dealing with. But anyway, let me go to this particular article. And it's on my website, of course, where it says Kanye West gives Tucker Carlson an amazing interview on Fox News. I'm going to play some of these clips. I'm going to cue them up right quick, and then we can just talk about it. But if you guys saw it, did you enjoy it? Did you agree with what he was saying? Was it a good thing to watch? Was it a good use of your time? Like, what's your viewpoint on the talk, on the interview? Y'all let me know that in the comments. Yeah, Elon's the same way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Elon on the spectrum, it is what it is. Right. Now, sometimes Kanye could talk just very clearly that makes perfect sense, but sometimes he kind of just gets off. And I think Kanye knows that because, or Ye, as he's known now, because at the very beginning of the interview, he was like, hey, I know I'm giving you like these 3-part answers to questions. Is that okay? Are you able to follow me? So he knows that people have a hard time following them sometimes because he'll give you a real long answer and it may deviate from the original question a lot. You may ask him about the White Lives Matter shirt, and then that goes in talking about fashion industry and Virgil Abloh and Anna Wintour, people like that. But here's the first clip. Oh, and there were a few things I want to talk about, but let's get to the first one here. And of course, this will be on my website. All the clips are in the article compilation.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter T-shirt which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin. Yeah. She was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles. And we are in a battle with the media. Like the majority of the media has a godless agenda, and the jokes in that work, and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy and all these things, they don't work because the media has, you know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they stay quiet about it.
All right, so there's one of them. And what he said about the media having their agenda is right. I mean, anybody can see it. It's to the point where it's like a joke. It's like a running joke. Everybody knows what the media does, so we already know kind of what it is.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt White Lives Matter, it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that my favorite response, because I kept on thinking like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
So you said...
Pretty simple, Pretty clear what's going on. All right, I can skip past that one. Oh, here's one about Kim being close to the Clintons. His ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, being very close to the Clintons. You know, Slick Willie, Hillary, and all them. Chelsea Clinton.
It was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, you know, I didn't realize it at the time.
That you were married to her?
And well, I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
I mean, cell phone away, like, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination.
See? You see how like these kind of behind the scene things work? You know, you see somebody that's out there as an influencer or whatever, a popular figure or celebrity, and then how to get manipulated behind the scenes by certain people. The Clintons calling them, hey man, you know what? Push that vaccine for us. Get your husband, Kanye, this guy who has $6 billion net worth, get him to get on social media and talk about the vaccination. Get him to do this, get him to do that. You know, that's kind of how these things kind of go behind the scenes. And then when you don't want to do that, all of a sudden you're the bad guy. But really, you want to live your own life and not do what they're trying to tell you to do. And, you know, put you into that certain kind of box. So shout out to him for not acquiescing to what they wanted to do.
A manipulation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Why did you like him, by the way? You said you liked him early, like you saw him.
I mean, I keep telling this joke. If people say Trump was the first black president, I'm going to be the first Latino president, because all the values, the conservative values just line up. Come on, man, Trump's the What do you mean? He has his own buildings. What are you talking about? He's like, like Ralph Lauren. He made Ivanka.
You like Ivanka?
A manipulation.
So, yeah, I mean, the thing about it is people loved Trump before he ran for office. It wasn't, nobody disliked Donald Trump. Everybody loved Trump. Trump was a guy, you know, especially in the rap community, the black community. There's songs about Trump. So why all of a sudden now is anybody going to say that they hated him just because he's conservative now? And what did he do that made you hate him? Wait, you got the lowest black unemployment. Everybody's getting money. Everybody's having a good time. The country's doing very well. I mean, what was the hate about Donald Trump, really? All that you could say is that he was brash in his tone, but that's what people liked about him before he became conservative. They like that about him. You're fired. They like that kind of stuff. But now all of a sudden it's a bad thing because he's on the wrong side of the political aisle. So the same things that you loved about him, now you hate about him because he's on the wrong side. It's kind of silly. And to get back to it, somebody said, handlers everywhere, even your own spouse. That's 100% correct. Have you ever seen Oblivion, the movie with Tom Cruise? I mentioned that the last time. I think Apple asked me, you know, what are your favorite movies with Tom Cruise? And I think Oblivion came to be. That is an prime example of that. You see, in Oblivion, if you've not seen it, it's been years. It's whatever. I'm not spoiling it. You know, if you ain't seen it by now, it's your fault. But anyway, so in the movie, the guy is like a regular normie guy. It's him and his wife. He's just going to work. And he doesn't really do things like in the office. He's like going out to a particular part of his neighborhood or his city or his area. And he's doing like some kind of like repetitive work. I can't really remember exactly what he was doing, but he was doing some kind of work out there. He began instructions and whatnot to do a certain thing. But he could never really go beyond a particular point. When he tried to go beyond a particular point, there'd be all kind of warnings talking about, oh, it's nuclear fallout or something like that. But he decides to go beyond this point, and then that's when he kind of like has an awakening. And his quote unquote wife knew what was happening the whole time. His wife was there to keep him in check, keep him in control. And come to find out, he was part of an invading, I guess you would say, alien force that had wiped the planet completely out of all the humans, most of the humans. It said toward the end when they found who they found in the cave, Morgan Freeman so they found my main man in the cave, Morgan Freeman, with some survivor humans. It's like, hey, remember when you first came down? Thousands of you. So it was all a bunch of guys looked just like Tom Cruise and a bunch of wives in these pods. They were colonizing the earth and they were just harvesting water. It was a whole big story. But the long story short is the wife was part of the handling process, keeping him in check. So he didn't go too far beyond where he's supposed to go. That's the whole thing. So yeah, shout out to Morgan Freeman and shout out to Tom Cruise. And my man Morgan Freeman in the cave with the survivor humans. It's like, okay, I believe that, whatever. But there's more here. Oh, here's one that I have spoken about on this channel about the whole abortion thing in the black community.
The lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen. I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
The lanyard's still on from it, and
there you go, right on. And then, oh, this might be what I'm talking about. This might be the one we're talking about, Jared, because okay, here's the last clip for you guys. A lot of people talking about we're talking about Jared Kushner not being a good person to have in the White House next to Trump because he's just, I don't know, it said it held him back. He had his own agenda, kind of a liberal or whatever. So this might be talking about that kind of thing, but from Kanye's perspective, not being in the White House.
When I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And it makes me feel like they weren't serving my boy, Trump, the way we could have, because, you know, Trump wanted nothing but the best for this country. And it doesn't, like, Moses stuttered. And saying God is not always going to bring the most perfect personality. A lot of times, the most fake people, their job is talking and making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and the realest people are going to make you feel uncomfortable at first.
So there you have it. I mean, that's his point of view on the outside of the White House, just dealing with him on a personal level with some business. It's like, wait a minute, if this guy's in the White House with Trump, I could kind of see that they're not doing the right thing by him. They want to kind of suppress him. Again, you got a handler. The handlers present themselves in different ways. They can come to you through your kids, come to you through your family, your friends, or whatever. When you get to a certain level in life, you got people that want to try to prevent you from doing certain things. They want to get in your circle and whatnot. That's why when you get to be at a certain level, you have a very small circle because you can't have just hangers-on, handlers, and those kind of people around you because they're going to get in the way of your ultimate purpose, which is not a good thing, obviously. You want to be able to have next to no distractions. If you can't have zero distractions, have as few as possible because you got to get to that promised land. And if anybody's in the way, then you just can't have it. You can't have it. But if you like what you're hearing so far, get a video a thumbs up. Did I get to everything I wanted to get to? I talked about Kanye on Fox, Florida looters, Cori Bush. Oh, the IRS agents. I got a little bit of time for that. Now, IRS. So in Memphis, Tennessee, matter of fact, I'll just play that clip. I may have covered that last time on the show, but I can't really remember. But I'll just play the clip. Matter of fact, I think I did cover it. But long story short, the IRS agents, Memphis, Tennessee, they tried to steal about $1 million in money. That was the attempt to steal $1 million. But they got about $400,000 total. From 5 people, they stole about $400,000 in straight, like actual tangible cash. But they tried to get over $1 million in PPP money. And they want to expand that agency by 87,000 people. Now, how does it make sense to expand the IRS by 87,000 when you can't even keep tabs on those you have there, those you have right now? Okay, they can steal money. And I heard somebody say that half of the COVID relief money was fraud. Is that true? Let me see if I can find that right quick. I spoke about the bar and weed parts at the beginning. Did I speak about that at the beginning? No, actually I didn't. I was speaking about I was talking about Hunter and the crack and whatnot. I'll talk about the Hunter, about the Biden weed pardons. That's a good thing to do. But give me 1 second to look at the fraud statistics. Okay. Wow, wait a minute. Here's an article from NBCnews.com. And it says, the headline says, the biggest fraud in a generation, the looting of the COVID relief plan known as PPP. The official in charge of the COVID relief tells NBC News, Lester Holt, that programs like PPP were structured in ways that were an invitation to fraudsters. What in the world? Hold on.
The federal government approved a historic $5 trillion in pandemic assistance for struggling Americans, small businesses, and healthcare providers. But now investigators say hundreds of billions have been lost to fraud.
Is that billions or millions?
Healthcare providers. But now investigators say hundreds of billions have been lost to
Hundreds of billions have been lost to fraud.
This $3.5 million Florida mansion seized by the IRS was bought with taxpayer dollars that were supposed to rescue American jobs and small businesses. Instead, according to law enforcement, it funded a swim-up bar and a horse stable. The buyer got $7 million from the federal government, allegedly claiming he had 400 employees. According to prosecutors, he had none. Have you been surprised by how quickly fraud?
My man was like, you know what? If I'm gonna fraud the government, I'm gonna fraud it. I got a horse stable, a swim up bar. I'm gonna say I got 400 employees. I have no employees. I said I got 400 employees when I have zero. And I'm gonna get a whole estate. I'm gonna get a rapper mansion.
Investors moved in on this money?
Unfortunately, not really.
Michael Horowitz is the top cop overseeing the effort to make sure the $5 trillion in taxpayer dollars went to the right place. This is his first interview in his role as the head of the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee.
When the Small Business Administration, in sending that money out, basically said to people, apply and sign and tell us that you're really entitled to the money. And of course, for fraudsters, that's an invitation.
The fraudsters are bold, buying luxury cars, flights on private jets, mansions, like this Los Angeles couple who led a massive $20 million fraud ring using fake IDs to apply for loans for fake businesses. They texted about the cash that was available. You need to apply, $10K guaranteed. They don't check for blank. It's all automated. Days later, texting, they got the money. I did 7 applications last night, and 4 of them got email that it's funded. I'm telling you to apply to Bluevine, an online loan processor. How much they send you? Like over 500 so far. Raising questions as to how they got the money in the first place, Congress now investigating Bluevine, one of the third-party service providers who processed billions in loans and touted that a business could get loan approval in 5 minutes.
I mean, what in the world? Like, come on. Okay, here's the thing about it though. People frauded the system and it didn't catch everybody. Just like, people coming across the border illegally. You're catching some of the people that come across the border, but the border is wide open. So how can you catch everybody? You caught some, but the gotaways are still out there. They're still out there just doing their thing. This whole thing was just ridiculous. This was the biggest mistake of our generation. The PPP and all that the big mistake. Shutting down, locking down, big mistake. Terrible mistake. And as a result, we got high inflation. Oh, the inflation is crazy. Try buying chicken, beef, pork, all of that. Man, forget about it. You got to go rob a bank to buy a pack of chicken nowadays. It's crazy. Because of this kind of stuff like this that did nothing but just, here's my thing about it. If you built a house worth, I don't know, 10 million with PPP money, where does the house go? Does it get demolished? Why would it do that? The house was built with the money. It wouldn't have been there without it. So now it gets sold. Like, how does that really work? So a lot of the money you can't even really recover. Really, I I don't even know. It's just crazy. But anyway, I'll speak about Biden and the whole weed thing briefly. Let me see if I can find the clip that he put out. So Biden wants to pardon low-level federal weed offenses. Like, I don't know what a low-level federal weed offense is. Ain't nobody getting arrested for smoking weed or having weed on them, really. That's not really a thing that happens anymore. You could pretty much smoke crack on a city bus and not even get arrested. You got weed on you. I saw on television one day, back in the day, probably about 8, 9, 10 years ago in Virginia when I was still there, a police officer got on TV and said, hey, if you get pulled over and you got a little bit of weed, we'll let you go. We'll let you go. If all you have is weed. But here's the thing. Here's where it gets kind of tricky. Now, in many parts of the country, pretty much everywhere, if they smell weed coming from your car, they can pull you over. And what ends up happening is when you get pulled over and they might search your car, now you got other drugs in the car too. You got Vicodin, Xanax, fentanyl. You got a gun. You got a few guns in the car. You just super hot. You got everything else in the car because they smoked the weed. If you smoke weed in your car, just on the road, just doing whatever, that's probably, you probably have things you shouldn't have in the car a lot of times. Loud music, weed smoke, get him. I know you got guns in the car, get him. So when somebody says, well, I'm locked up for weed, it's like, no, you had that gun with a switch on it, that's totally illegal. And the gun has a body on it because they ran ballistics on it. You didn't kill 2 guys with the gun. Maybe you didn't kill them, but that gun killed the 2 people. Somebody had the gun and they killed 2 people with it. The switch, that's automatically 10 years in a joint. Then you have other drugs in the car that are they're super illegal. You got the candy colored fentanyl. That's what you're going to the penitentiary for, not the weed charge. So when you have a federal indictment or whatever, you may have 18 charges. Okay, no license. You got drugs, all the drugs. You got Percocet, Xanax, Oxy 80, fentanyl, heroin, black tar. Then you have you were speeding. You were going 90 into 25. You got all these charges. Then there's a weed charge at the very end. Okay, possession of weed. Now, if Biden pardons the weed charge from the federal thing, does the whole case fall apart? Or are you still going to be in the penitentiary because you had all kind of other stuff in the car? Like, I don't know, a gun, fentanyl, things like that. Okay, you got a minor in the car that you got on the street doing stuff. You're in jail for that, not because of the weed. Now, here's what I want to play, if I can find it right quick. I just want to find Biden talking about the whole situation. You know, pat on the back for that type of thing. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So the whole point of him doing this is to garner votes in the midterm elections. Gas going back up, food still high, housing is still high, inflation in general is still high. The Ukraine thing is not getting any better. So he's got to do something to get the number back up. You know, try to put a little bit life into the midterm elections for the Democratic Party. So he'll do this. Maybe that'll work. It won't actually help anybody really, because if you have your weed charge taken away, you still got the gun and the drugs and everything else aside from the weed. Let's check it out.
As I said when I ran for president, no one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, and educational opportunities. And that's before you address the racial disparities around while white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionately higher rates.
I hate that line that he said right there, because that's always said when they're talking about people getting arrested for drugs and things of that nature. But you can't compare somebody using drugs to somebody selling drugs. It's a whole different kind of person. You may be a crack smoker, but not a crack dealer. That's not the same person. The crack head is going to be on the street looking crazy, or same thing with a heroin user, slumped over, drooling, slobbing, and everything else. But the heroin dealer, you're dealing with a Chinese man overseas making the chemicals, shipping them here. You're dealing with some guy, suit tie, or some kind of dope boy out there thugging and drugging, shooting people, carrying on, fighting over territory in spots and hoods and everything else, the gang warfare going on. That is a whole different thing. So you can't compare the average dope fiend to the average dope dealer. They are different. Now, you may have them be the same guy occasionally, but how are you going to be a dealer and a fiend at the same time? You're going to end up smoking your supply up. These guys are different. So you cannot compare them to each other. It doesn't make any sense.
So today, I'm taking 3 steps to end this failed approach. First, I'm announcing a pardon for all prior federal offenses for the simple possession of marijuana. There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them. Second, I'm calling on all...
But it's what I'm saying. It's for federal offenses. Who's going to have a simple, we ain't talking about El Chapo. We ain't talking about guys that I know that had weed in a tractor trailer. I remember a guy that got caught like that. This man had a trucking company and was moving drugs in the trucks. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a basic possession. Okay, you got a bag of weed on you. Why would that be a federal conviction by itself? If you got convicted on that, there were other things that went with it. So you won't have your whole record taken away or expunged because of the one charge that's there. That charge should be taken away, but you still got other drugs you were selling, and that won't go away. And prime example, if you want to be a firefighter in Virginia, at least, maybe the whole country, but definitely in Virginia, you cannot have any drug felonies on your record. So the weed one, okay, that's a drug felony, and that's gone, but you still got the fentanyl and everything else that you got locked up for. So it didn't help you.
Governors to do the same for state marijuana possession offenses. Third, the federal government currently classifies marijuana as a Schedule I substance, the same as heroin and LSD, and more serious than fentanyl. It makes no sense. So I'm asking the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to initiate a process to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law. Even as federal and local regulations of marijuana change, important limitations on trafficking, marketing, and underage sales should stay in place. Too many lives have been upended because of our failed approach to marijuana. It's time that we right these wrongs.
And that's funny because he's the guy behind 1994 crime bill. So it's like, if you're going to say something like that at the end, if you're going to say that, you got to say, well, I'm partially responsible. But when they asked him about it, at least most recently, it might have been some years ago, but it wasn't like a long time ago, probably about 3 years ago. When he was asked about it, he was like, yeah, I did it. So what? Yeah, I did a 1994 crime, but I'll do it again. He said that. Let me see if I can find him talking about that. And then I get to super chats and get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to that in just a minute. Y'all hang tight. I'm going to search Biden crime bill apology. Let me see if he says anything. So he said later it was a mistake. But before that, here we go. Okay, this is my man Phil. Shout out to Phil. All right, big Phil. Hold on. This might be it right here.
Perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
No.
Pause right quick. Did you hear that? Bobby Rush, the black guy who came before Barack Obama in Chicago, Illinois, who was a civil rights guy and everything else, voted for the crime bill. Like I said before, black folks wanted the crime bill back then because of all the violent crime. I was around. I remember all the crime that was happening back then. Like 94, I was about 10 years old. I remember all of that stuff. I was 10 years old. I'm living in Virginia. The crime was crazy. Like early 90s in Portsmouth, Virginia, the crime was off the hook. Off the hook. We wanted the crime bill because of all the violence going on. That's the truth. Now, was it a mistake? Hey, that's up to people to acknowledge on their own. But the crime bill was for violence reduction, not because of the drugs themselves necessarily. It was all the dope dealers out here shooting and killing everybody over the drugs.
Not at all.
That I voted for the 94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
And by the way, we talk about this mostly in terms of Black Lives Matter. Black lives really do matter. But the problem is institutional racism in America. That's the overarching problem that still exists. And we should.
So, I don't apologize for that. I wrote it. I don't apologize for that. Nah. That's what he said. But now he wants to come back and say, well, we got to right the wrongs. But you just said, like, what was this? When was this? What year was this? And I don't have it on here. In 2019, you were like, nah, I'll do it again. But anyway, super chats on deck, and then we get to the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let me find the ones that are right here. So I'm on and updated. Thank you to Forgotten Country. Oh, hold on. Before I get to that one, there's a few before him. All right. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, ABL, do you think Biden ended possession by executive order and pardoning everybody is something bigger, like he's moving to do the same with all illegal drugs? Nah, I don't think so. I think the whole thing with the pardoning of people that had, the pardon of those offenses, not of those people necessarily. The partner of those offenses is to try and generate steam for the midterm elections. That's all. He won't go to moving all drugs away because you got a serious issue with fentanyl sweeping the nation. Too many deaths, too many crying parents. You can't make all drugs legal. It just wouldn't make any sense. I think it's Riley Grant who says, you hear about SoFi Stadium canceling a Ye concert after the Tucker interview. Interesting, not surprised though, because that's how they do. They try to control you like that. They try to take money from you. They try to limit your opportunities. Just like I was just talking about in Oblivion, where he was not able to go to certain parts of his area because there was already a plan. It's like, okay, you're going to be right here doing this and that. I'll put your wife right there. She'll be your handler. This guy be your handler. And that's pretty much it. Thank you to Apu, who says, 26-year-old Stephen Cannon was sentenced to life in prison for killing retired St. Louis Police Captain David Dorn as he tried to stop a pawn shop from being looted during the riots in 2020. Justice, that's right. Apple also says, first video of yours I watched, David Dorn, RIP. That's a good video. That came straight from the heart, too. When I saw that, it was crazy. It was like your granddad or somebody just got killed over nothing. Apple also says, you were so sincere and respectful. God bless David. Thank you for that. Thank you to Venerated Trouble. Like the video. Thank you for that. Thank you to Forgotten Country, who says, ABL, you think they're using an arrest on Hunter Biden to justify an arrest on 45? That's a good question. But no, because if they were going to do that, they would have done it a long time ago, because they've been doing this whole thing, this whole song and dance with Trump since 2015. We're now in 2022. They're not going to get him. Ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing there. You see, the thing about Hunter is the whole gun charge they got on him. They got that red-handed. But as far as Trump, they try to get him on taxes. He's a tax professional himself. And he has a team of people around him to make sure he complies. So it ain't nothing there. So what's the other crime they're going to get him on? They have nothing. All they're doing right now with Trump is making him look bad in the court of public opinion. They wanted to be convicted in the court of public opinion, but they can't actually arrest him because they have nothing on him. So, no, I think the whole thing with Hunter is that the federales are kind of upset that they can't really do much with him because of the leadership at the FBI. They're saying, nah, don't do it. This is Hunter Biden's son. But they have him red-handed with the gun thing. So they're like, look, we're not being allowed to do our jobs properly. That's why you're getting leaks and stuff like that. But I digress. Also, and what do you think the response of the American people would be? If Trump got arrested, that'd be a problem. I'm not sure what their response would be. I know that's kind of a loaded question. Not accusing you of anything, but I'm saying I don't think it would be anything crazy, but I don't really know what the response would be. It wouldn't be a good one So they wouldn't do that. Actually, if they arrested Trump, what had happened is more attention would be paid to the conservative party, and there'd be more votes to the conservative party. Democrats would lose. They would lose steam doing that. They would not gain. They would not gain anything doing that. So you're able to gain some steam from the Democrats by attacking Trump, but you would lose steam from the Democrats and, of course, the conservatives if you arrest him, if that makes any sense. Thank you to Apple, who says, RIP Novita Brazil of San Antonio, Texas. Innocent woman murdered in her home in a drive-by shooting. Police charge 14-year-old and 15-year-old. Sad. That's how it is. It's always real young guys. So when they're talking about, oh, he was a baby, why you shoot him? They'll be the main ones that'll kill you. Brainless, just out there thugging and drugging. You rarely see a 35-year-old just out there gang banging and shooting somebody. That's not really common. They'd be the guys between the ages of 15 and 21. Or 15 and 30, but definitely like the teenagers be the main ones. Apple also said, shout out to Fox reporter Gianno Caldwell asking tough questions to Senator Chuck Schumer and Representatives Ayanna Pressley and Ilhan Omar. They scurry away. Right on. Thank you to Eric Milan for your donation. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Apple, who says, ABL in your home state of Tennessee, well, where I live now, not my home state, FBI arrested 11 pro-life Meemaw and Pawpaws. One of them, 87 years old, who survived coming prison camp in Yugoslavia. Wow. That's crazy. I wonder what happened. Like, what was the story behind that? I need to look into it. Thank you to Apple again, who says, red state governors and attorney generals must prosecute FBI agents for kidnapping and false arrest. FBI agents are acting like gangsters and terrorists. Also, 1 month to midterms, ABL predictions, red wave all day long, boss, for the midterms. Because that gas keep going up, that's going to drive it. That's the number one issue right now that is impacting Americans. The food and whatnot. Okay, you got food stamps and assistance and food banks. That's the issue. That's a problem. But that gas, I mean, there's no assistance for that. Ain't no federal gas program. And I mean, that's going to be a serious problem. People got to go to work. They got to go see their kids. It's an issue. Also, God bless J6 MAGA page DC Joe Solitary. Apple also says ABL Columbus Day. Your favorite Italian food? Oh man, I'm a big Italian food guy. You know, man, my favorite Italian. I mean, you could do spaghetti and meatballs. That's like a classic. That'll always go good. But pizza, of course, some basic stuff. But chicken parmesan, fettuccine alfredo, anything like that. The Italian bread. Yeah, you know what? I've been to quite a few restaurants, like fine dining and not so fine dining and hole in the wall spots, but really, some of the best Italian food I had, Olive Garden. I know it. I know I'm gonna get shot for that, but I've been to some of these little. But you know what? I've not been to Italy yet. If I go to Italy, it'll change my mind. But I've been Nashville, Atlanta, Miami, New York, LA, and I've been to restaurants there. The best that I've had consistently is Olive Garden. I'm telling you. I've been to these little fancy spots. You're getting champagne and wine and all that good stuff, and you paying $1 million for the ticket. Olive Garden, still. Sure is. Okay. Oh, Carrabba's too. Carrabba's is good. Little chain spots like that are pretty good. If you get a spot that's not really a chain, it can be kind of iffy. If there's no Meemaw in the back making it, I would take Olive Garden all day over a spot with no Meemaw. Okay, we're Pasta de Puccinelli in Atlanta. Okay, great big whoop. All right, where the Meemaw at though? Or Auntie? Anyway, shout out to the Italians. Love your food. And the New York slang. I'm walking here. Shout out to the Italians. Kai's Parchments also says, ABL, what say you on Biden telling Florida normies, quote, nobody else with a Biden, unquote, and telling the media in front of Governor DeSantis that the Hurricane Ian was caused by climate change while also being Puerto Rican. He's all over the place, ain't he? I mean, climate change is silly because there's always been hurricanes. That's not even a thing. Remember Hurricane Andrew in the 90s? I was around at that time. I was probably like, how old was I? About 8 years old. I remember the Hurricane Andrew. I remember watching it on TV. I remember the devastation. I remember all of that. I was watching the news back then as a little boy because I was always a nerd, wondering what's going on in the world. So was it climate change back then, 1992? Or how about before that? How about in the 1800s, 1700s? Ever since we've been here, there's always been stuff going on. They're making it seem like if they change the laws, that there'd be no more hurricanes, which is silly. Somebody said Pizza Hut. Hey, Pizza Hut is still rocking. It's a spot called Your Pie. It's good. Yes, Your Pie is good. You know, they had them East Indians back there cooking them pizzas. Like I don't know what they do. They put on a naan bread or whatever, but it's delicious. I'm talking about perfect. Also, favorite Italian actor: De Niro, Pacino, Pesci. I'm gonna say Joe Pesci. For sure. Followed by Pacino and then De Niro last. De Niro, even though he's woke now, is a fantastic actor. Casino, my all-time favorite movie like that and that style. And beyond that style, it's my top 5 movie of all time. So many references and life lessons learned from that. Casino was a great movie. And De Niro's role in that with Sharon Stone and also Joe Pesci. Fantastic. Favorite Travolta movie, Grease, Saturday Night Fever. I don't know. I would say probably Pulp Fiction. That's all I really know about Travolta. I was not really around in the 70s, so I'm not really a Travolta guy. So you got to pardon me. Also, Kai's Posthumous says, how about the bridge in Crimea being destroyed? Part of warfare, ain't it? Because that's a link between Crimea and Ukraine. So if you can destroy that, you destroy Russia's military supply going to the mainland. That's all. Thank you to DC the Beast, who says, shout out to ABL. Keep waking up normies. Hashtag let's go Brandon. Thank you for that, boss. I appreciate you. Thank you to Anzac, who says, dang fruit pickers. Also, thank you to Jay, who says the tinfoil hat team is right yet again. We need t-shirts show that we're a bunch of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists. Right on. Right on. F Ranger Xbox says, I call him the Q-tip. Thank you to Dent Machine Company, who says, can Cori Bush be sued by the doctors and nurses that she alleges forced her to have an abortion? If she named them, yes, she can. Yes, she can be sued by them. Thank you to Dent Machine Company again, who says, did you see the video of the guys getting pulled over by the cops and they had high-power rifles with drum magazines on them? Check your email. Will do. Thank you to F Ranger Xbox, who says, Cori Bush's corn pop story. Thank you to Man of the Face for the donation. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Miss OMG, who says, ABO, they knock you out under general anesthesia for that procedure, which is probably lying. Probably so. Thank you to Tom's Wild Wonderful Views, who says marijuana can cause headaches, dry mouth and dry eyes, lightheadedness and dizziness. Other side effects may include nausea and vomiting, disorientation, hallucinations, increased heart rate. Dent Machine Company says 2 words, FJB. Yeah, I know, 2 words. I got that video too of Biden talking about 2 words, made in America. It's like, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I think that's more than 2 words. I'll play that video, then I get to the calls. Again, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And perfect timing. There we go, right there. You got your man Joe caught in 4K, making no sense yet again. What's new? Turn the sound up and get it rocking and rolling.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America. Made in America. Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America. Made in America.
He looks really bad. I mean, look at this. Mr. Burns. This ain't Joe Biden. This is Mr. Burns from The Simpsons right now. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is crazy. This is elder abuse, man. Let that man just go back to Delaware and just chill. They put that man in there because they knew he would have the ability to win because of name recognition, because of Obama. He was Obama's vice president. People love Obama. So, okay, let's go ahead and pick him. Although he should have been retired many moons ago. He's been there for 50 years in office. 50 years. Okay. Some of y'all got parents younger than his term in office. It's crazy. But let's get to the calls. Let me turn the sound down. The number to call, 434-658-1220. And there's also a Skype email. If Skype doesn't work, it's not my fault. Blame the white man. Okay, can we start Skype or not? Let's try doing that. There we go. 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description and also right there in the ticker, right below me. You can see it right there on the screen. 678, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Tiffany.
All righty, what's happening?
What's happening? I got an echo on here. I don't know why.
All right.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I don't know why this echoes here. I wanted to talk about Bros. That movie.
Yeah.
Okay, they're seen in the trailer, and did you see the scene when he's talking to the guy, the main his friend and maybe his friend's wife, or there was a woman there, man and a woman. There were some kids playing on the floor in the background, and the guy is really buff, and he's like personality type, and then he's like the nerd. And the friend was like, well, maybe you're both bottoms. And you know what a bottom is in that lifestyle, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So the little girl that's playing on the floor, she gets up and she says, bottom D. It sounds like she says bottom D. And so then the grown woman sitting at the table says bottom D. And you know what D stands for, right?
Yeah.
Why is a child, and both of the little kids get up and run over to the adults and start gyrating and dancing and stuff, and everybody's saying bottom D? Why?
Wait. Okay, so they said bottom D, or they said the entire word?
Because then they would have been really caught. But in slang terms, most people refer to the whole word as D. Most women refer to it as D, and men too.
Oh.
I'm trying to keep it clean. But why do you have two little children on there talking about bottom D and everybody chanting? And then the main character does a voiceover saying, I'm paraphrasing, it used to be easier when people were uncomfortable about gay sex. So if you tried to be like, that's not what they was talking about, it was what you were talking about, because the voiceover makes it very plain and clear. That is pedophilia, that is inappropriate, and it's demonic. That movie should have never made it to the screen.
Yeah.
And this is what's messed up. And then you did that story, you and a couple other people did that story about that shop teacher that had them big old prosthetic breasts looking crazy. Now, if some young lady had came to school with her chest out like that, they would have sent her behind home. And she's a real biological woman.
That's right,
some
exactly.
Teacher had came in there looking. Yeah, and you guys were saying that some teacher came in there like that, they would have sent her home too. But because he's LGBTQ, we have to be inclusive. That's not being inclusive. That is inappropriate.
When I was a kid, if a girl would have a skirt that's too short, they come out there with a ruler and measure the skirt and see if it was too short. And if it was like an inch too short, you go back to the house.
Yes. The rule is the tips of your fingers. You put your hands to your side. I'm old school. The tips of your fingers. It can't be higher than that.
Yep.
So why you got this fool? That man is psychologically insane coming up in there with them children. I don't care if they teenagers, they children. So we really it's a lot going on, but that movie needs to be pulled from the theaters. And the fact that they are allowing that mess to play on the big screen shows you how evil and demonic Hollywood is, and whoever's pulling the strings in there.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, but on a lighter note, happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you for that.
I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great rest of the show, okay?
All right, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, that movie Bros is crazy. They worry about it flopping. They should be worried about going to the penitentiary for putting something like that kind of stuff out there. How can they have children involved with it? It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, leave the kids out of it. If people want to be LGBT, whatever, okay, that's fine. If you have consenting adults, that's their business. Why you got to put kids in it? We nobody want to put kids in it. We don't got to try to beat around the bush. We nobody want to put kids in it because they want to groom them for their own purposes. That's just the reality of what's happening. 628, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Eli.
All right, man. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just working on some school assignments. I got a different take as far as the whole Hunter Biden FBI thing that's been going on recently in the news.
Okay.
Can we honestly believe that the FBI just suddenly had a change of heart and started to do things legitimately and do right by the people by pursuing somebody who belongs to the Democratic Party, specifically Joe Biden's son? I mean, we're talking a sudden flip in character and a new realization of doing the right thing. I mean, doesn't that seem kind of fishy to you?
Well, my thing about the FBI is I think that there's a lot of good guys at the FBI, but they are being overshadowed by the leadership. I think the reason why this came out is because you got guys at the FBI that want to pursue this case. They know it's the right thing to do, but they're being prevented from doing so within the organization. That's why it leaked like that. That's my opinion about it. If not for the fact that they tried to leak it and get beyond it, it might not have came out because the leadership, they want the whole thing to be suppressed. But you still got some normies and good guys that don't want to do that. They want to do the right thing. It's an eternal battle, in my opinion, between the good guys at the FBI and the bad guys at the top of the the leadership.
Yeah, I can see that side. I can see that element definitely. But allow me to propose a different take,
Okay.
if I may.
Go ahead.
Now, what if this is a false flag, so to speak, or not necessarily a false flag, but I don't know what would be a more accurate way to call it, a red herring, I believe, where because look at the timing, look at what's coming just around the corner, elections, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think it would be too like so far-fetched and so out of the realm of possibility for the FBI, which we already know, have been weaponized for the most part, regardless of there still being some people who work for the FBI who still want to do the right thing and who are whistleblowing? God bless them. They're doing the Lord's work. But for the most part, I think that the timing is suspect. And, it, in my opinion, can't be left to coincidence. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but what's the purpose of them doing that right before the election to get Hunter Biden to have this come out right now? How would that help them? I'm just kind of struggling to see that part.
Well, I don't believe there's any intention to actually bring Hunter Biden to justice. I think it's all a show.
But why?
I think it's all, well, because I believe that the Democratic Party would like to demonstrate their legitimate behavior and try to appear less corrupt than they have been for the past years.
Okay. I mean, that's possible. I mean, that's possible, but still, I think even if that was the case, I think just even talking about that makes them look bad. So people don't even really care about if they do the right thing, because if he's not convicted, it doesn't matter, because just saying it is the same thing to some people. It's like Donald Trump. It's like Trump's not been convicted. People still think he's a criminal because people, they put it out there already. Oh, we're going to charge him. We're going to sue him. All this, that, and the third. He's being investigated. Just from the act of being investigated or being charged is enough to make you look like a bad guy. So I don't see how that would help him at all, because even if he wasn't convicted, it'd still look bad on him.
But therein lies the difference between Hunter Biden and Donald Trump. You see, in good old number 45's case, he never actually did the things that the left was trying to peg him on. Whereas Hunter Biden, there's actual concrete evidence of him doing all the things that he's been accused of.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm with you. But see, but it doesn't make a difference, because what I'm trying to say is, by putting it out there that you're investigating them or you could be charged is the same thing as convicting them in the eyes of many. They don't care about the conclusion. All they hear about is the initial allegation.
So you don't think that they might just be looking to use him as a scapegoat and as an example to try to pop themselves up on a moral pedestal, like at just the right time when they need to be the most?
No, because all people are going to see, because you got to understand the mind of the average person. You may think about that from your point of view, and it makes sense. To some it might make sense, but for the average person, the normie who's not really into politics, all they see is Hunter Biden, gun charge, and that's Joe Biden's son. That's all they're going to see, nothing else. But thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, ABL. Have a good night.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's go to 505. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, who's this?
It's ABL. Who am I talking to?
Hi, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Hey, ABL, how are you doing tonight?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Not too much. Just calling in just to do a little bit of commenting. I know you had someone talking about the Hunter Biden situation and the FBI.
Yes.
And kind of my take on that whole thing is basically it's been pretty obvious that they're getting ready to pretty much use Gavin Newsom. I think that's who they're going to try to push. And I think that Biden's already pretty much used his expiration date a long time ago. As far as the FBI, we know that they haven't looked very well. So if it looks like they're actually doing something with Hunter Biden, then it may justify them doing what they're doing with Donald Trump. It's kind of like one of those things where there's a lot of tugging and pulling there, if you know what I mean. And I think kind of what you were alluding to, that there are some good guys in the FBI, obviously, just in every organization, there's good and bad. But on a bigger scale, it's obvious they know that Biden is not going to make it all the way, and they can't, rely on Kamala. So it's kind of like, okay, well, who's the next one we have? Well, we only have Gavin Newsom. So with the Hunter thing, it's not like they're all of a sudden good guys. I just think that they maybe think this is a way to kind of make the FBI look better, kind of clean up their image a little bit. So when they go after Trump, then it looks like they actually are doing something. That's just what I think.
It doesn't make any sense, because the thing is, the damage would be done to the Democratic Party more than it would help the FBI and their image. You see, it wouldn't make any sense.
No, but I'm saying, what I was alluding to, though, is just that they're going to continue to go after Trump, obviously. We know that. That's not going to stop because they don't want Trump to run. So if it still looks like they're not just being like one-sided, even though we know they have been, it may kind of like work in their favor. Because I still am of the opinion that it's so easy for them to cheat. And we know that the voting's still not what it should be. And the fact that they're pushing Gavin Newsom, who we know is like not really a good candidate, and his state, California, is just horrid. But yet they're looking to push him to the point where he's even calling out, DeSantis and wanting to do debate, which is hilarious. Because he's just trying to, ask my opinion, that's just a way of trying to get a little bit of notoriety, you know what I mean, to do that. It wouldn't serve DeSantis to do that, which is crazy. But I just think there's a lot of that kind of chess play going back and forth,
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I still kind of stick to what I'm saying. I think that there's other things going on. Like, even if it would help them in their image, it would hurt the Democratic Party and their image. And I think the FBI at this point is largely kind of an enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. So if the party is going to be hurt more than it would help the FBI, it wouldn't make any sense from their point of view, in my opinion. But I could see how it would help the FBI, but I still see the other part of it. It's like you got pros and cons to doing something like that. I think the cons outweigh the pros here.
Thinking that, baby, I would definitely agree with you, except for the fact that I think it's already been proven. That's just my opinion that they don't really need to have the popular vote to win. So it's not like they have to do that. It just looks better for them. But I mean, when it comes to the voting, I still know they're going to cheat. It's just we know it's still not totally the way it should be.
Well, I mean, but is there federal level cheating, or is it state by state?
I think it's coordinated to a way. I've never understood it. Maybe you can kind of weigh in on this one, but I don't understand why it's legal for the parties as a whole to be able to pump money into candidates in different states. I think that it should only be allowed that candidates within the state can only get money within that state. Because otherwise what happens is you have people from outside your state pumping money and determining your elections, and yet they don't even live in the state that they're putting money into. I think that's very jicky. I think that it should only be that you should only be able to get funds from within your state. Because otherwise, that's how the Democrats do it. That's how they've been trying to flip Texas and other states, by basically pumping all this money into a state that they didn't even live in and try to change it. And I think that's what they're doing. So there's on a state level, it'd be a lot easier, but it's a nationwide problem. And the way that they do that campaign funding.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing though, because you can't really stop that from happening, because it's like, okay, if you live somewhere before, like let's say you grew up in New York City, and then you leave to go to Florida, and you know somebody that you like is running in New York, and you still got family there, and you want to contribute. How can somebody say you can't? I mean, that right there, I don't think would work. And then all that would happen is if you do something like that, okay, I'm a billionaire, I'll move to Florida. I'll go to California. You just have the top guys move to the biggest states where it makes a difference during the campaign time. Like say Stacey Abrams had moved somewhere like beyond Georgia. It was somewhere else for a certain time to contribute the money. So they just find a way around it. I think what we got to really do is get our message out there more than they do on their side and focus on that rather than trying to be worried about what they're doing. Let's outperform them. But thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Because where's it? She went somewhere. She went to Iowa or something for like 3 months. It was weird. Let me see if I can find where she. I can't really. Hold on. Where did she go? Where's she from? So she's actually from Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. Wait a minute. Okay, Stacey Abrams. Okay, she moved to Atlanta in 1989. Okay, all right. So she grew up in ATL. All right, that'll work. She went to Avondale. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm about to say, wait a minute. She's from Wisconsin. It kind of reminds me of your man. What's his name? The former governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, being from New York and not Virginia at all. They move around. They'll go to wherever they need to go for the time being to be able to do what they got to do. So that really won't make a difference. Let's go to 424. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is David from Los Angeles.
All righty, man. What's happening?
Couple things based on your show tonight. Now, first of all, regarding Biden and the marijuana, the federal pardon, what is low-level federal? They don't get involved unless it's really big stuff. All the people getting busted for weed, that's the police. Even the neighborhood drug dealers, that's going to be local police or sheriff. The only federal thing I could think of is if you get busted with weed at the airport, you know, going through the line and you have some weed on you, that would be federal because it's the airport. But ABL, what's an example of a low-level federal marijuana arrest that would be pardoned?
That's a great question. I'm wondering the same thing. I think maybe somebody might have a low-level offense, like, let's say possession, but it wouldn't just be possession. It'd be, okay, you have possession and you had a gun that's illegal, it had bodies on it, and then you had a stolen car. You had a bunch of other offenses with the weed offense. So if the weed offense was dropped, it doesn't matter because you still have the other actual crimes that you went to the federal penitentiary for. So it's just kind of a thing that they're trying to say to give Democrats a little bit more life right now during the midterm election time.
Yeah, and I was thinking, you know, with Brittany Griner, they want her release from Russian prison. So it's kind of hard to do that when you got homies locked up for $10 sacks of weed here in America. you know? So it's kind of the first step to saying, okay, let her out now. I thought of that as well. Now, speaking of Joe Biden, with Hunter, there's many things he's in trouble for, the least of which is the gun charge that he lied about. Okay, but there's stuff like doing dealings with Russia and China at a big billion-dollar level that he failed to disclose. And that, people are saying, definitely ties to Joe Biden. So, you know, Joe could be in big, big trouble. It depends on how many charges they want to put on him. But here's what I'm wondering. Biden can easily pardon Hunter at some point. Don't you agree with that?
He definitely could.
Now, that would reflect very badly on him. And people, basically, if he has to he's not going to rerun for election anyway. But let's just say he was going to. If he has to pardon Hunter to keep himself from getting in trouble, well, then he definitely can't run. You know, America would turn real hard on him if he would pardon his own son. But I would look for that. Joe's going to pardon Hunter. You know, he's not, because he's not running anyway. Do you agree?
Yeah, he could do that. But see, if he does that, that pretty much end their chances in 2024 of running anybody else, because it's like, okay, if he does that, they got to pretty much throw him away. If they bring in Newsom, he has to run against Joe Biden and say, oh, he was despicable. He pardoned his own son. The country was run poorly. They got to throw him away at that point. And I don't know. They may not do that because of the Obama connection. Then you got to bring Obama and have him throw him away too. But he was your vice president for 8 years. So I don't know if they do that. That'd just be really bad on the party as a whole. But they could.
Yeah, it would be bad on the party as a whole, definitely. Even if Biden doesn't run, I don't think he's going to run anyway. I mean, the guy was. Remember, I'm sure you talked about with the dead person. He was like, "Hey, where's that dead person at? Person's dead. Are they here today?"
Right. Yeah, that was crazy.
I think that definitely seals that. Now, I called on Wednesday, and I noticed, I mentioned Boozy, the rapper. And a bunch of people in the chat thought it was funny that I know who Boozy was. Just because I'm a 58-year-old white man, I must sound so unhip. You know, but since I mentioned Boozy, you know, with the Kanye thing, he went nuts about the Kanye White Lives Matter. But I saw a video of Boozy where he was bragging how proud he was that he had a lot of white fans. And he said when he did time, there were plenty of white people that went through the same struggle, and they're just like black people, and, you know, they know what it's all about. Okay, but so then the minute Kanye wears the shirt, then he gets all protective and territorial. So I didn't like that. But the Kanye interview, I know you covered it. I think it's a seminal interview of our generation. Kanye, now ABL, you're amazing. You're just as good as Kanye. But, you know, he was on Tucker Carlson on Fox, and that's going to really wake up a lot of people. He crushed it. It's just really one of the best interviews I've seen of our lifetime as far as a seminal pop culture interview. So I know you covered it. Everybody needs to see it. And with that, I guess I'll let you move on. I love talking and weighing in. You got great comments in your chat, and you're always amazing, bro. I love you for it.
Thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you.
Good evening.
All right, great call. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. 216 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony Brian Logan, president.
Right on, man. Thank you. All right, short and sweet. Might have been a little, you know, little saucy right there, but it's all good. Let's go to 865 here on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Hans.
All righty, what's happening?
Well, I don't have a lot to say, but I just have a couple interesting conspiracy theories. I'm living in North Carolina now, and I'm from New York State. And I just have this weird conspiracy that all the stuff that they're doing, like them in California, at one point they're going to become their own country. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, I see that coming. Like, I see that. They're talking about, it was weird because there was a point in time where the left talks about the South wants to secede and go back to the Confederacy. It's like, no, if anyone wants to secede, it's the left coast, California. They want to secede and become their own thing.
Yeah, because I'm looking at like all the stuff that I see up in New York. Like I see like a gay Uncle Sam picture now. I saw that online. I don't know if that's 100% true, but if that is, I mean, they're trying to destroy it to the point where enough people leave, and that's all they have left there. That's what I think. Gay people.
Well, I mean, you know, it could be.
I don't know. Like, I don't know when people are going to stop this stuff. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's uncontrollable. Like, I see it where I am now. I see it where I am in North Carolina. I see it. I'm on the, and I see stuff that wasn't here like a year ago.
Right.
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. I don't see it.
Yes.
I see very little improving here so far. I don't know. Like, I'll go buy something and I'll see like a Trump flag out or whatever, and then underneath it for the voting cycle now, and then I see somebody for like school board or something, and it's a Democrat. Like, what? How does it go along with Trump at all?
Hey, I can't call
Like,
it.
so you're half and half. It's like you're half and half. Like, how can you be half and half? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, you know, I would love to be able to see somebody. I don't mean to get off topic, but this is another subject. But I would love to be able to see some conservative come in there, because I don't see conservatives. I don't see anybody. I mean, I would never vote for blue. I've never done that, not once. But I never see anybody talking about our health system at all, like GMOs. I don't see anybody talking about any of that ever. Like all this stuff that's, you know.
You said GMOs.
Yeah, I see nothing ever being brought up about that. I see it getting worse and worse and worse. Like, you look at these other countries, and a lot of these countries is banning it. Like, we do nothing. I'm waiting for somebody. Trump is the closest thing to that.
Yeah, that's kind of a niche topic. So people don't really want to talk about some things that are kind of like, you know, they kind of focus on broader issues, more popular issues. But I understand what you mean.
Right. Like, I don't see it like it's not all affecting people, but a lot of it is. I mean, it's stuff with these, you know, like local businesses are going out, all this stuff. Local food companies are going out. Now they're all brought up with these one giant organizations like Procter and Gamble and all that stuff. Like, those companies are not good. Like, if those companies went away, we would have less problems.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting to the point where I think, honestly, somebody like Procter and Gamble, like the government, let them get way too big.
Yeah, that's where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. We got to get somebody in there this time. We got to get rid of these people.
That's right.
Like, if North Carolina goes blue, then what's that going to mean for the rest of the country?
Yeah, that's going to be an issue.
Like, I don't know if you can do it, but I would love to be able to see our governor recalled here. I don't even know if you can do that here. I don't think you can. But
I mean, it's possible if you go through the procedures. I mean, they did it in California, so if they did it in California, they could do it in North Carolina too. So it's not. It's just a matter of going through the procedure.
I started a thing on change.org. I just started it.
Right.
Because I put up a recall. I'm like done with this guy. This guy's doing nothing. I mean, all I see him is doing stuff for, you know, the gays, the, you know, BLM, all this stuff. Like, now I just saw something where, what was he doing? He wants to, like, now take our taxes and raise, like, the sales tax now, all of a sudden. You know? All this stuff. Even, you know? It's just, I don't know. I just don't know where an end to all of this is.
It's a good question, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to. All right. Let's try 918. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, ABL? It's JB Scott from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Hey, not a lot, man. You had a great show tonight, as always. Love it, man. Great Saturday night. So many topics. I mean, of course, I can't talk about them all. It's been hours doing that. But first of all, I'll get to Cori Bush. Okay. So she had an abortion at the age of 17 and 19 when she claimed they did it to her without her consent. Okay. And she's a pro-abortionist.
Right.
How about, instead of being that, how about you be a woman talking to younger women about practicing safe sex, and avoid the whole situation altogether?
That'll make too much sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a better message?
It would, definitely would be.
Yeah. So yeah, that I think her story is totally full of crap. I think she's just whatever with her. The PPP loans, the teachers unions in all the big cities like Chicago and New York, whatever, they've got millions and millions of dollars they haven't spent yet.
Yep.
That they were supposed to spend on upgrading their air filtration systems and just, making their schools safer. But no, they didn't do any of that. No, they kept it, and it's still unaccounted for. And who knows where it's going?
Who knows? It could be pretty much it could be spent on anything, or just it could hang out there. But what I do know is that the debt is going to increase regardless of where the money goes, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon.
Exactly. Yeah. And they still want to keep kids out of school. They don't want to go to work. They're like, let's keep doing virtual learning. It's like, whatever, man. These kids. I feel so bad for these kids nowadays. What else? The guy that 3D printed those guns and made 21,000. He's a genius.
Right on.
Those guns look like toys, and they actually paid him money for those.
It's crazy.
That guy's a genius. I love him for it, man. Yeah. And I'm gonna keep it quick because I know it's kind of a long night. Olive Garden, that's good. I love Olive Garden.
Absolutely.
That's great food. Yes. And lastly, I got 2 words for you, man.
All right.
I love your show. I love everybody in the chat. And you have a good night, buddy.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, later.
All right, shout out to the caller, and shout out to those 2 words. It was a little bit more than 2, but we're going to let it slide because Joe Biden can do it, so can we. All right, let's go to 440. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, long-time viewer and first-time caller. How's it going?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Just a few things I wanted to say. I think the first lady that called said something about that teacher in, was it in Canada with the big prosthetic boobs?
Yeah.
The way I heard it is like before this happened, he used to be this non-woke guy, and he used to tell kids that this woke thing is a bunch of crap. And I think the school wanted to get him fired, so I guess he kind of slided to the other side, try to be the super woke guy, try to get himself fired so he can get a lawsuit going. I think that's the angle he's playing.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I can't really substantiate it. I think I saw that on Reddit or somewhere, but I have heard that. Now, if that's the truth, then he's a genius because he's got to go to the extreme to make something happen that needs to happen in a positive way. So I appreciate that. Just like back in the day with segregation, they would do stuff like that too. They would challenge the laws to make the extreme happen. So now you gotta confront it and change it.
Yeah, I get you. And the other thing about the FBI and the Hunter Biden thing, I think that they're trying to look non-biased, like we're going to look into anything regardless of who the person is. I think that's the angle they're playing, just to try to seem like unbiased, look like we're doing our job and we're like independent and not, weaponized and stuff. That's what I think they're doing. So, anywho, that was my 2 cents on that. So, anywho, thank you very much for your show. Been a long time watcher, so. Be calling in again next time.
Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up if you have not done so already. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Let's go to the next 860. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's F&A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, you got your internet search fingers exercise ready to go real quick? Because this is a PPP important.
I might be able to. What we got going on?
One of the most famous drunk drivers in recent history got forgiven by the United States Congress PPP loans of, I believe, $1.6 million. You know, Mr. Paul Pelosi.
Oh, yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Right.
And I want to explain this about Planned Parenthood to those people out there that don't know how our government's working right now, the criminal corruption. Planned Parenthood receives hundreds of millions of dollars from primarily the Democratic Party. So consequently, they launder that money and give it back to them, tens of millions of dollars in campaign contributions. Unfortunately, that's how our government's working right now. That's why we're going broke.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And a lot of the money that BLM collected, about 80 to 85%, went directly to the DNC through
Blue.
What's that? It's
Act Blue.
You know the website Blue. I'm sorry.
Act Blue.
Yeah, Act Blue. Thank you very much, sir. I knew you would know that. But that's where most of the money went from BLM. So the heck with the kids that can't, the poor black kids that can't read or write or do anything because, we're Democrats and we're used to treating black people that way. That's why it was against the law for slaves to learn how to read.
That's right.
It was a death penalty for white people to teach slaves how to read.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, because if you keep them ignorant, they don't know no better. And anyway, the IRS thing. I got a letter from 1980 from the IRS harassing me that they need more information on my income when I was a private in the United States Army. Like there wasn't another 800,000 privates in the United States Army, and we're all getting paid differently.
Right, exactly.
and they're never wrong. They are never wrong. They're like the worst nightmare of a nightmare housewife you could think of. They're never wrong. That's their attitude. But great show tonight, brother. I want to keep it short. I just want to throw a shout out to if you want to see some of the links to the videos that are on Hunter Biden's laptop that'll put you in a blood rage, Wimkin, they're posting up links. They don't promote pornography. They don't want nudity and all that. But you will on a link see Joe Biden in his birthday suit torturing a brown girl. Literally. And they're both in their birthday suits, and the girl's got her hands tied up with a rope, and Joe's got a belt in his hand.
All right.
Yeah.
We from there, we just check it out from there. Use imagination on that one.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's good.
Sick world we live in.
It is.
All right, ABL. I'll let you go on that. God bless you. Love the show. Keep doing great things, brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, let's get to some more here. Let's go to 818. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Mike in California.
All right, man. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to talk about two things. The first thing is, before the pandemic, all of these school districts, like the other callers have been mentioning, they were broke. They did not have money. And so their states and their counties required them to keep like a 3 to 5% of their total budget in a savings account. But none of them had that. So this COVID money has been transferred into those accounts. And now these school districts appear to be so like financially healthy and great. But really what that money did was kind of cover up misspending.
So it's kind of a school bailout?
Yeah, one thing that I would say about education and government, they're really good at moving money around through channels that are supposedly not allowed.
Right.
And the next thing I wanted to talk about is when the Democrats talk about this new world order, the one thing that I'm noticing is that really what they want to do is knock out old industry, because everything they are invested in is the new industry that they want. Like Joe Biden and Hunter Biden owning parts in like rare earth minerals that are needed for batteries, and investing in countries where those things exist. And so I think it's a big money grab. I think we always say this on the show, so I just think it's another example of a money grab.
Yeah, of course. Like a lot of this stuff, all this money floating around, there's going to be hands to grab the money, and they are they do the job very well. So that's the whole thing, money grab. And if people are not, if they're in a position, if they can lobby to get this money put out there, and they're able to get it themselves, they will. We saw it with Pelosi's. Paul Pelosi got a bunch of money from the PPP stuff, and that's no accident. That was probably designed that way, so they'd be able to benefit from it.
Yeah. Well, ABL, thank you so much. Thanks for taking my call every couple weeks, and be well, and thank you again.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to some more here. Let's go to 559 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, Patrick from California. How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, man. I just wanted to talk with you about a couple of topics involving Gavin Newsom. And I wanted to get your take on the Golden State Stimulus 2 package that he's rolling out, which is going to pay families who are married up to $1,050 per household. And I think like $700 up to $700 per individual, depending if they have children or not. And do you think that is going to just cause nothing but more inflation and more hardship on the country, not only for California, but for the rest of the country?
Now, is that a one-time, like a stimulus check type thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw where they're going to raise taxes in California. So it's like, okay, you're going to give this money out, but you're going to raise taxes to pay for it. So it doesn't make any sense. It's like you're just doing lateral moves. I think a lot of this stuff he's doing right now, as far as Gavin Newsom, he's preparing for a 2024 run. He could say, look, I was giving out stimulus checks in the state when the federal government didn't do it. I did this, I did that. He could say all these things he's out on the campaign trail to make himself look better for 2024. It's not really about the constituents. And as far as what did it do to the Californian people, it make the taxes go up. You're going to cause inflation like that, of course. I'm not sure if that'll affect the entire nation, but definitely California, it will affect them because they're going to have higher taxes, and they're already paying through the roof for gas and things like that because of high taxes. So it'd make it worse.
Right. Yeah, I was watching KTLA the last several days, and they were interviewing people off the street, at the pump, just on the sidewalk, whatever. I mean, anybody and everybody. And not one of them said that they thought it was a positive thing. They all thought that, this was just going to be like just a little a bump in the road and, get everybody by for maybe like a couple days. And then that was it. The inflation is still going to go up, and, the taxes are going to go up. And it's interesting to me how he's blaming the gas companies for it. And now he's wanting to call a special session. Do you think this is just more pandering by him and the California legislature on the left, just to point the finger at somebody until, I suppose that he runs for president and pretends that he's like the savior of California?
Yeah, of course. It's the same thing. It's all about 2024 because that's very important to them. They know that Joe's pretty much done. He's done now, but that was waiting for them to keep control for a little while. He's a placeholder for the next 4 years. That's all it is. So then when they get rid of him, when he gets discarded, they're going to try to put Newsom in his place. So all these things that are happening right now is for 2024. Nothing about the California people at all. It's all about the national, federal level.
I 100% agree with you, man. And you know what? If Trump does decide, I hope 2024 ticket will be Trump Paul because, hey, you know what? Rand Paul, he's awesome. And I think that would be an excellent choice for the president. Anyway, ABL, I appreciate your time. Thanks for the phone call. And I hope you have a great evening, sir. God bless the United States of America and our 45th president, of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Take care, sir.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Great call. And I see a comment right there in the comments that says lithium plus water equals fire. Yeah, exactly. I saw that there was a electric vehicle. It may have been a Tesla. It might not have been a Tesla, but it's an electric vehicle that was on fire for a while. And it wasn't even like a raging inferno. It was just like constant smoking. You could tell that there was a fire going on because they had the fire engines right there trying to put it out. And they were there for a long time trying to put this fire out. Meanwhile, it's on the road. They can't move it. It might blow up. I mean, because of the flooding. So if you have a hurricane hit and you get that salt water in your car, it's a wrap. That's a ticking time bomb, literally. And it doesn't make any sense. How you gonna have a car that can't really get wet in a certain way, or else it'll blow up? It doesn't make any sense. And try putting out a fire caused by electricity out with water. It's a conductor. Like the salt water is a conductor, so it's almost impossible to put it out. A fire like that will burn underwater. We're not prepared to have all electric vehicles in this country at all. Not in the least bit. 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Hey, listen, ABL, I wanted to touch on a few things this week, and I'm glad I was able to get in. This whole, COVID thing, where they're now going back on, who should take it and who shouldn't. I mean, this was predictable. People, their jobs and their lives were upset by having to be mandated to take this, this vaccine in order to live your life, let alone like government workers like myself and other people who have lost their jobs. I mean, if you recall, I was testing myself twice a week and sending the results in on my own dime just to keep the job for as long as I was able to keep it before I retired, and now they say, we were wrong about that. We're still working through this. Well, if you're still working through it, then don't demand that I get it.
Exactly. Figure it out first and then do something else with it, but don't do it in the reverse order.
That's exactly right, ABL. I mean, and that's why they had that clause in there that, even though we're a big drug company, it would bankrupt the country if we were able to be sued. So, so let's put a clause in there that nobody can sue us if they have bad reactions, let alone that you can hide a lot of of deaths that were caused by the vaccine by saying, well, they had underlying medical problems, which is, they were old. They had diabetes. They were overweight. They had lung problems before this. They went to the hospital for asthma many years. But in reality, getting the vaccine might be the thing that killed certain people. So, it's like, we're still working through this. Give us a chance. Meanwhile, people, and here's one other thing about that ABL. In the police department, when a city and fire department and city and all over the country, when they mandate in order to keep your employment with the city, you have to be vaccinated. It doesn't take into account that, I'm an old copper and an old man, and there's guys that are 22, 23 in the prime of their lives that aren't sick and never will be sick that you're making get a vaccine. You're making women get a vaccine. You're making men get a vaccine, old, young, because that's who makes up these jobs. That's who's in these jobs is a huge black, white, Asian, everything else. And you're making indiscriminately, everybody's got to get the thing regardless of what your health might be or anything else.
It's crazy. Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And I've been involved in those gun buybacks before, because the police have to be there and all that nonsense. And you should see, it's junk that comes in. It's old guns and old and rusted and everything else that comes in. And if you ask the 25-year-old guy that comes in, with the rusty old gun, what are you going to buy with the money we give you? Well, I'm going to buy a better gun. That's what I'm going to buy. A lot of criminals, they don't care. Criminals are going to have guns. They'll have family members handing old guns that are no good, or guns, like you said, were used in a crime. Now, that we might have been able to catch that gun on somebody or in somebody's car or something like that, just like you said, in a traffic stop. And that gun might bring us to, the killer. So anyway, ABL, love your show. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right. Great call, as always. And you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you were hearing thus far, give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. I'm speaking to 857. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, man. How you doing?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Everything is good, man. Hey, man, it's true what you said, man. It's completely true, the media, including you, is all about pretty much opinions, not facts.
Oh, is that right?
No facts,
Oh, okay.
Huh?
Is that right?
Yeah, because, you're talking about Don Lemon.
About what?
You're talking about Don Lemon from CNN. It's about opinions. They give more of their opinion than facts.
Oh, you said Don Lemon. Okay.
Huh?
You said Don Lemon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about opinion. Fox and Friends is about opinion. When it comes to Tucker Carlson, about opinions. Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum.
So wait. So I have a website and I write articles and I cite my sources. So are those sources I cite from left, right, independent, local media? Are those opinions? Wait, sir, hold on, I'm not done, not finished yet. So when I read an article from FloridaHealth.gov, when I read the article, was that an opinion?
Well, 90% is opinion, what you said.
Oh, okay, 90% opinion. So you just, I don't know how you're able to quantify that. When I write an article for each video that I do, and each video I cite my sources.
Okay.
Every video, and wait, and I tell people, fact check me on every video. I challenge everybody to do it. I have the information right there on my website.
Okay, so can I talk now?
I was trying to talk, but you can go ahead and finish what you got to say. I mean, hold on. Did you hear what I said, or were you just waiting for me to stop talking and then you talk? Did you hear what I said?
So I'm gonna talk. So
no, sir. The question was, did you hear what I said though? Were you listening?
I heard what you said. You said
okay, all right. So continue.
Sources.
So continue.
So you believe that the border the southern border is open, or you believe that what is the deal with the southern border? You claim that it's open.
It's open.
Okay, so that means according to the DHS numbers, there's 10% more border patrol agents that there was during the Trump administration. So how is that open? If they capture 120,000 last year illegal immigrants crossing the border at the port of entry. So how that is open? Can you explain that to me, sir?
Okay, so they captured 120,000. How many got away?
Well, what do you mean they got away? I don't know how many got away. I mean, you get captured.
So you may have some that get captured, but it doesn't mean it's not open, because some people are going to come through that shouldn't be there. They recognize them. They got records and everything else. It's open because the border agents are mostly down there just facilitating them to get from point A to point B. When if they're in the water and they're drowning, they rescue them. That kind of thing is going on. The border is open.
So after that they go to they put them in some sort of custody, right, for like 30 days minimum. So they're still open. It's open.
Well, if they get put into custody and then they still get put into the country, the border is open. If you're able to come across the border and not get sent back, so sir, listen to what I'm saying. If you're able to come into the country and you're not sent back immediately, all the time, 100% of the time, the border is open. If you have caravans, excuse me, I'm not done. If you have caravans coming with people in the caravan and they're just kind of let in, the border is open.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you. I want to ask you this: why you think they allow them to come in? Is because of the Democrats or is because of the law? Which one is it?
It's because of the current administration refusing to enforce the laws on the books.
So what are the laws on the books?
Well, the laws on the books say that you can't come into the country illegally. It's illegal to come into the country if you don't have a legitimate reason.
If somebody's an asylum seeker and coming to the port of entry, what are the laws applied for that particular individual?
That's a great question. Now, with the current administration, excuse me, sir, I'm gonna just put you on mute. The previous administration had remain in Mexico policy. Okay, that was policy on the books back in the previous administration during Trump. So if you wanted to seek asylum, you had to stay in Mexico to do that. All right. Now, this current administration removed that. So now you can just come on the cross and then seek asylum here rather than seek asylum in Mexico or your country of origin before. So that's a change they made, which made the border be wide open.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
So wait a minute. Excuse me, sir. So wasn't that the rule back then to remain in Mexico?
No.
Excuse me, sir. Was that not the rule back in the Trump administration? Remain in Mexico?
No.
Oh, it wasn't the rule? Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So you're gonna allow me to explain the rule?
All right, go ahead.
The rule that Trump has, it was HR 42 under Section 18 of the asylum seekers. That means that under certain conditions, for the safety of the American people, those who live here, for transmissible diseases, that's number one. Because of COVID, he used that particular provision to stop coming into the border. That means that you can't come into the port of entry and you cannot seek asylum. Read it. Article 42, Article 42 under the asylum seeker provision. Read it. Signed by Jimmy Carter in 1980.
Okay, so
read it.
All right. Excuse me. So is that same law on the books right now?
It's still on the books, but can no longer be applied because
excuse me, sir. Are they enforcing it?
You cannot enforce.
Excuse me, sir. Are they? Excuse me, sir. Are they enforcing? Yes or no?
No, because the conditions
all right
are
then.
not met.
So there was a change, like I said.
But they have to have the conditions.
Okay, all right. So the rule is not enforced. The rule is not enforced. Okay, all right, cool.
That's what we have a judiciary system. We have
like I said, things have changed.
Judiciary system, and then we have a executive branch.
So
that's the reason we have.
So if you cross the border illegally, is that legal?
It is illegal until you seek asylum.
Okay, so it's illegal.
If you become asylum seeker, let me explain to you so you understand. You're gonna allow me to explain.
All right. So Trump was built. Excuse me. I can do that. It's my show. I do whatever I want.
Oh, it's your show. Okay.
Yeah, it's my show. Now, excuse me, sir. I'm gonna just talk right now. Now, Trump was building the wall. Already had money set aside for it. It was already going up. And what did the current administration do? What did they do with the whole wall process? Did they continue to build the wall, or did they stop it?
The wall is continuing to be built.
It's continuing to be built. Really?
Look at the
Is that
budget.
right?
Look at Biden's budget. The proposal, the budget that was approved.
So
by
Biden,
the
excuse me. Biden said not one more foot, didn't he? Did he say that?
Again, look at the
Excuse
numbers.
me, sir.
Again,
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
I don't care what
The Biden said not one more foot, didn't he?
your opinion.
Is that an opinion? He said that. Did he? Did he not
It's
say
an
that?
opinion because the
He
numbers
said it. He said it.
in the budget.
Excuse me, sir. Did he say that or not? Did he say it?
I just don't know what he said. And
Okay, so you don't know. So yes, he did say not one more foot. Yes, they did stop building it. That's the reality of the situation. You could say, oh, well, they put aside money for it, but they stopped building it. They sure did. That's the situation. But thank you for the call. That's a wrap for tonight. And that'll be a wrap for the show. You guys have been the best audience anywhere on the internets. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight, please hit the video, hit the thumbs up button, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. Don't cross the border illegally. How about that? If you want to come across legally, legal immigration, that's all good and well. But don't come across illegally. It's pretty much common sense. But that'll be a wrap. You guys have been great. If you can't get on tonight, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Please blame the white man. But I'll be back live again on Wednesday night, of course. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a podcast right now you're listening to, and it'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, audio only, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Super chats on deck. I'll read those right quick, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Shout out to the mods for keeping the trolls out of the chat and the chat nice and even. Thank y'all. Couldn't do it without you. Super chats on deck right here. Then I move forward and wrap it on up. Thank you to Great Nate 30447 who says, I watched the follow-up video on Kanye and I was impressed. You can see that he was very intelligent, but at times has issues expressing this through words. I love when he said if he was president, he would get all the intellectual people together. Musk. There you go. Bo versus Windshield says a few things here. Biden has set all sorts of records. In just 16 months, he has over 31,000. Dang it, he's loose again from his Secret Service handlers. Also, the FBI arrested a man for protesting in an abortion clinic at his home in full assault gear, but they have not caught one firebomber from health clinics. Also, keynote Peter Zelhan 2022. Peter is in a geopolitics, infrastructure, and logistics specialist. It's about an hour lecture. He'll let you know what is going to happen. Highly recommend it. Also, shout out to the Mariners. After 21-year playoff drought, they won the wild card round. Cheers, M's fans. Yeah, shout out to the Seattle Mariners. Thank you to Dent Machine Company who says, did you see the EVs causing a new challenge for the firefighters and rescuers in the wake of Hurricane Ian being described as ticking time bombs? I saw that. Yes, I did. Because what's happening is these things, after Hurricane Ian, they got inundated with salt water, and water plus lithium-ion batteries creates an explosion, creates a fire. It's a problem. We're not ready for all electric vehicles. The technology is just not there. Like I said from the beginning. Thank you to Half Orc Monk who says free Julian Assange. Thank you to Bo versus Windshield again who says those new agents are not patrol, they're handlers. And also to Tommy Robinson who says the illegals they capture don't get deported. Exactly right. They capture then and just let them kind of hang out for a while, and then they go into the interior of the country. That's the problem. So that'll be a wrap for me. You guys have been great tonight. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.